All right, let me turn on the TV. You're live. Let me turn on the TV here. It's already muted, so that's good. Yeah, bro. What you doing, bro? What you doing, bro? Yeah, let me go to live TV. Let me go to live TV. Let me what else? I'm fighting like that. It's not gonna be on Fox. Wow. Let's see. Wow. So it's not gonna be on Fox. Wow, that sucks. 2 o'clock game is not gonna be on Fox. Wow. And it's not gonna be on. Is it gonna be a Spanish TV? Wow, no. Holy moly. So the semifinal is not gonna be on TV at all? Oh wow, that fucking sucks, bro. So, well, not the semifinal. Is it the quarter? Yeah, quarterfinal. Okay, so the next step is okay. So then we need to get out of this, and I'm gonna put using my tool, which is this guy, right? Let's see. Okay, hold on. Relax. Why is it displaying it like this? Let me reboot it. Why is it stuck like this? Let me unplug it and reboot it. All right, let it reboot. Why is it displaying in this mode? This shit is pissing me off, bro. For real, yo. There's one thing I hate about the Roku. Sometimes they just fucking. I'm not. This is the last Roku I'm buying, to be honest. ARC and a little option. Okay, I'm gonna get out of that. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, now I fixed it. Okay. All right, now the display got fixed. All right, so now we go down to to apps. Of course, they said they already found my shit as suspicious. So Stream Fire is going. So let me see HD streams. I recommend it. And then we go to new update. Okay. Yeah, let me download. Let me download new update. Install. Okay, please unknown sources to setting. Install unknown app. Yes. It's gonna be HD stream. Turn it on. Okay, now we're good. So get out of there. Get out of there. Come back here. Just gonna install that. Okay, let's try that again. Download. Okay, it's downloading. Come on, bro. What are we doing here? Install. Okay. Okay, install. 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 Open. Let's see. Okay, recommended UI. I'm gonna say remember my choice. Okay, open that. Okay, so then we go to live TV. Let me go to, oh, come on, bro. What the hell, man? Let me go to category. Let me go to sports. Let me go down to, actually, country, USA. Yeah. That's going to be probably Fox Sports 1. Look at that, Fox Sports 1. Okay, there you go. Fox. Okay, so I got Fox Sports 1. Okay. Good. Okay. So let's go for that one. Okay, I'll leave it on Fox Sports 1. Let me go back here. Right on the big screen. Okay, Fox Sports 1. I'll leave that running in the back. Did I hit my kid upstairs? All right, Fox Sports 1. All right, there you go. All right. I'm going to put a live chat. There we go. Audio. Okay, so I got the audio. All right, so I'm good there. Yeah, so let me look it up. These people are so greedy. These FIFA people are so fucking greedy. I mean, seriously. All right, so let me open up this thing right here. So Yahoo. All right, so let me go to World Cup. Let me see. Anyway, let me go to World Cup bracket. That's gonna be. Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, okay, it's tomorrow. Let me see. Schedule. Okay, so tomorrow. God damn it. What the fuck, bro? World Cup bracket. Okay, 7-9. Okay, so it's tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow, France plays Morocco, 4 o'clock. And then on the 10th, you got Spain and Belgium at 3 o'clock. And then on the 11th, you got 2 games. So tomorrow is Thursday. So you got 1 game tomorrow. You got 1 game on Friday. And then Saturday, you got 2 games. You got Norway and England at 5 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. Then the last game out of the semifinal is Argentina and Switzerland. That's at 9 o'clock Saturday night. Okay. Yeah, I really figured they're going to put the Argentina one last because, biggest fan base, probably Argentina. Oh, okay. All right. So I thought it was today, but okay. So it's not today. So it's tomorrow. So tomorrow, Friday, and then 2 games Saturday. And then that's it. And then, so you got, so that's the quarterfinal. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's a quarterfinal. So you got the quarterfinal, right? Wait a minute. Yeah, it's a quarterfinal. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's 8 teams. It's the last 8 teams. Oh, we went from 16 to 8. Okay, so this is the semifinal. This is the quarterfinal that's coming up. Tomorrow's the quarterfinal. And then the winners of that go to the semifinal, which is probably later on next week. And then, of course, the final. Okay, so there's another round after this round. Okay. So, interesting. So right now, Argentina is going to play Switzerland. England's going to play Norway. So right now, I don't think Switzerland is going to beat Argentina. You never know. You never know. But you never know. Let me do something here. Let me unlock it for these guys. They want to. Let me unlock it for these guys. Let me take the admin lock off. Let me open up the chat for them. Okay, let me do a refresh here. Okay, let me refresh. Oh, shit. Damn, when I do that, I forgot the server goes down. When I switch it out admin, it goes down. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with this. It's like a glitch with the server. Okay, there you go.
8799-0133번으로 하시기 바랍니다. 시원한 콩국수와 삼계탕은 flashing Frizzy has had a powerhouse injury law firm. That name, the Lynch Law Firm. Trusted. Injury attorneys deeply rooted in New Jersey. Have you been seriously...
All right, let me close that. All right. Why are they posting in general? Anyway, I'm going to put server unlocked. Go. There you go. Let them do their monthly tests. Let them do their required monthly tests. Some of these guys do that required monthly testing. They want to record it or something, or they want to hear it. I don't know what they want to do with it. So, hello, Samuel Reyes. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so I can get out of this then. I don't need to do Fox Sports 1 or anything today. Okay, so let me get out of this. Let me get out of this. Who's that? So let me get out of that. I don't need to do that. Okay, so let me close HD streams. Let me close HD streams then. Okay, so let me get out of that. Get out of that. Get out of that. All right, let me get out of that. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. All right, so I don't need the Fire Stick today. Let me put it over here. Tomorrow's game is on Fox. I thought they were not going to be on Fox, but it's going to be on Fox. So tomorrow's France. How do they play? Anyway, so tomorrow is the first game of the quarterfinals. So it's tomorrow, Friday, and 2 games Saturday. That's for the quarterfinal. All right. So let me get out of this. I don't need to do that then. Let me go to let me just go to my computer screen. I'll put my computer screen up there today. Computer screen. Let's see how it. Yeah, I'll leave the computer screen on. Okay. So there you go. So yeah, I'm gonna be on for a bit. I thought I was gonna be on for just a little bit in the game, but there's no game on today. So no game today. So it's tomorrow the game. So anyway, I'm just taking a break. I was cleaning upstairs. I was like doing the dishes. I was cleaning the air fryer because it was all greasy. I figured let me take a break for about an hour or so, and then I'm gonna cook some burgers and hot dogs for my son. And now he's taking a nap. And then I'll just I don't know. I'll probably put some clothes in the laundry in a few minutes. I have a bunch of clothes I have to wash. Actually, blankets. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, yesterday I went off on a tangent, and I want to apologize for that. I need to. I know. I have no one to talk to, so you guys are the people I talk to. So I'm apologizing, but in a way, thank you, because you guys listen. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have no one to talk to. I can't talk to my brother Harry because I can't trust him. I don't want to talk to him anyway about my marriage or anything. I just don't. I mean, that goes to show you how much I really and I know I'm kind of committing a mortal sin. I shouldn't air my stuff out there on the internet. But at this point in my life, I really don't care. Honestly, I'm at the point where I don't care. You do have to talk to someone. It's best to talk to someone. Whenever anything is going on in your life, it's good to talk to someone. I mean, I remember years ago, I had to go to a therapist, and it did help me out. When you have something on your mind, it's best to talk to somebody, anybody. Because if you hold that stuff inside you, it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Right now, I'm talking to myself because no one is here. There's nobody watching, nobody, whatever. Yeah, I know you just came on. But, this is what you have to do. I mean, it's mental health is a serious thing. It's not make-believe science. There's coping mechanisms and all that. Why my lighting is so bad today? Okay, let's light on this one. No, this one. I don't think this one made it. Why my lighting is so bad today? Maybe I turn off this light. No. This light. Maybe turn on my other light. Let me see how that goes. I think because the screen is not that bright now. So, yeah, that was too bright over there. That's too bright. Let me fix it. Let me just put it like that. And then I'll turn on this light again. And I'll turn off the other one. Turn off the other one. I mean, I had to move it. That's what I think I would have did last time. I had to move it. Let's see if that helped. Let me see if that helped a little bit more. You know, still, and it helped a little bit. I think it's just this screen. This screen is it's not as bright as the weather. When I had the weather nation playing there, I think that's what it is. Even that's too bright like that. Put it like right. I kind of put it like right there for now. I right now I have a torch lamp over there. I'll probably at some point I need to get like another ring light. I had one that I was using out here, but they wanted it upstairs. That really belongs to him. He had two of them. He broke one. I fixed the leg. So I have that one here, but that one doesn't use a USB to power it up. That one uses a 12-volt wall, which I can't find. And then I'm just gonna buy one. I guess when YouTube pays me, whenever they pay me, I'll buy one. I'll purchase one. A ring light. Maybe maybe one I can clamp on here. I just need light for this, you know. Also I can turn on this light. What am I doing? I can also turn on this light. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Yeah, that'll help a little bit. But it's a color light. I just don't want to turn on this light because it's too bright. Paul Richardson, Canada. Trump did not kick you out of the country yet. No, because I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a citizen. So, yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen by birth. So, yeah, Trump is not going to kick out a U.S. citizen. So there you go, Paul Richardson. I'm glad you got that in there. But yeah, he did already. No, he didn't. I'm still here. You could be next. No, I'm not gonna be next. I'm a citizen. Like you really sound dumb and ignorant. You know, you really if you I know you're trolling, you're rage baiting. That's fine. You can do that. You can do that. And then as soon as I get tired, I'll just, you know. But no, I mean, if you want to talk something else, we can talk about anything else, like whatever. But if you want to come here and do that, you know, you're not gonna be here too long. So, I mean, I'm not gonna yell obscenities at you or anything. It's just it doesn't. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna be next. You know, it's the problem with Trump derangement syndrome is that you guys don't understand about illegal immigration. You know, if for example, Canada, right? If you live in Canada, you know Canada has a big immigration problem. I mean, it's not even you can't even recognize Canada now. It's too many Indian, Hindu, Muslim, Hindu especially. You know, the city of Brampton. Debate me here. Excuse me, debate me. No argument, debate me. The city of Brampton. I saw a documentary a couple of months ago. City of Brampton used to be 40,000 people. It was a small city. It was a nice, quiet, livable city. There was no crime. The city of Brampton. The city of Brampton, Ontario, was a 40,000 population, I believe. It was a very quiet city. Now today, it's like, what is it, 400,000 people now? Now you have like Hindu temples all over the place. Crime is through the roof. Crime is through the roof now. From what I see about Brampton now, it's crime written now. There's people in the street now. It's a cesspool. It turned into a cesspool. Why is that? Because what happens is when you let people in here that don't want to assimilate, they don't want to work, they just want to collect. They want to collect. And by the way, people that don't want to work and collect, you know what the common denominator is, right? They're drinking too much, or they're doing drugs. And you know what that leads to? Crime. It always leads to crime. It always leads to crime. Because now, and who's footing the bill for all that? You are the taxpayers of Canada. You understand? That's what he's trying to, in the United States, most of Middle America, United States, there's not that much crime. It's in the big cities. In the big cities. You know why? You know why? Because it's run by liberals. And liberals do not make people accountable for their actions. You understand? They're soft on crime. And by the way, illegal immigration is a crime. It's a crime. We welcome everybody in the world. Anybody can, you can go to Japan. You can go to Argentina. Doesn't guarantee you to be a citizen. Does not guarantee you to be a citizen. But if you come to America and you work hard and you don't commit crimes, you can be a citizen of the United States of America. We have that. We give everybody an opportunity to do that. But if you come in here and you already have a criminal past, you whatever, you know what I'm talking about, real bad crime. I'm not talking about speeding tickets. I'm talking about violent or children against crimes, that type of crime, real heinous crimes. You shouldn't be here. You don't offer nothing to the country that you're going to want to go to. I'm sorry. And that's the problem. Liberals. Stop saying Trump. It's not about Trump. It's not about Trump. It's common sense. It's a common sense thing. It's not about Trump, because Trump is going to be gone in a couple of years. It's common sense. You sound deranged. Right now, you sound deranged. You sound deranged. I'm trying to reason with, I don't know, I guess you're a liberal. You must be a liberal, because, you have Trump derangement syndrome or something. It's not about Trump. It's before Trump and after Trump. Any country that does not handle their immigration issue and make it at least, you don't have to be super strict about it, but make it enough that not everybody can walk into a country and get free benefits. I'm sorry. That's what I voted for. It's not about Trump. It's not about that. It's about common sense. I mean, who I had to vote for? Trump or Kamala Harris? It's a no-brainer. I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? Am I going to vote for Kamala Harris when all she did for 4 years as vice president was cackling and sounding drunk? Are you kidding me? Is that what you're telling me? It's not about Trump. Get that shit through your head, all you people out there. It's not about Trump. It's about sustaining your identity to your country. I mean, go look at England. Go look at England. Go look at England. They're not England anymore. It's a Muslim, quasi-Hindu country. You understand? Right now, you're making no sense. I know what you're trying to do You're trying to rage bait me, whatever. It's not going to work because I know better. I know better. I'm trying to enlighten you. I'm trying to help you here. You know, when you come out and say most Americans have no common sense, yeah, there is. You know what? You're right about that. There is a lot of stupid people in this country. You're right on that. I agree with you on that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stupid people in this country. No, I don't think the world thinks that USA is a joke. We still are a superpower, and many people risk their lives to come here. Many people still risk their life to come here. So I don't think it's a joke. Okay, forget about the soccer game. I don't care about the soccer game. I knew that I knew that we're not going to beat Belgium. I don't care no matter what. They were not going to beat Belgium. You know, some people are very like that. Oh yeah, they're going to go all the way. They're not going to go all the way. I knew that. I knew that. I'm talking about in terms of practicality and common sense. No country can let everybody in, give them free money, and expect to survive. It's not going to happen. Canada right now has a big problem with that. With their liberals, policies and all that. Canada has a big problem with that. You know? You understand, Paul Richardson? You know, it's not about Trump. Trump is not going to be here forever. Trump is going to be gone in less than 2 years. A year and a half tops, I think, was left. He's gone. And he's going to be gone forever. It's not going to matter. But the immigration issue needs to be, we need to keep it tight. We cannot let everybody come in here like Joe Biden did. Well, you cannot let everybody in here like Joe Biden did and give them free hotel rooms, $1,000 gift card and, $500 a month in food stamps or SNAP benefits, whatever. It's not sustainable. And by the way, a bunch of them were just coming here to freeload. They were not coming here for good intentions to live the American dream. A lot of them came here, me, benefit. That's it was. Me, benefit. That's all it was. So, you need to get that out of your head about Trump. Trump is not going to be here forever. I voted for him because there is no alternative. The Democratic Party is now a communist party in this country. You got to understand that. You got to think about that, Paul. The Democratic Party here is nuts. They're communists, socialists. They want to shove tranny up. They want to shove the trannies up your throat. I don't want that country. You understand? He was the only man that could somehow derail that craziness. You understand that? He's not that. I'm not MAGA. I don't own a MAGA hat. I'm not a MAGA guy. I'm not. I'm a common sense guy. Okay? And most people didn't vote for common sense. They were not going to vote for Kamala Harris and let her ruin the country. And you see, you're still trying to rage bait. How gas it's better than it was 4 years ago. You understand? You don't want to agree with me. I get it. You came in here. I get it. You came in here. You thinking you was gonna let me show this guy a thing or two. You're not showing me anything. I could easily say, you know what, ban this fucking guy. And I'm not going to do that. You know why I'm not going to do that? Because I want people to see that we're not like gas prices going up for anything. Right now, of course, because of the Iran thing going on, that's why gas spiked up. Gas prices go up for anything. This has been going on since the beginning of time. This is not new about gas prices going up and down. This is not new. I don't know how old you are, but I'm gonna be 60 years old. I know how the economy works. Gas prices go up for anything. Conflict, anything can affect gas prices. Remember, right now there's still a war in Ukraine. That's another issue. There's still a war in Ukraine where that is affecting gas price too, believe it or not. Of course, well, what's going on in Iran, that's another issue with gas price. There's a lot of reasons for gas price. I mean, look at Canada. You got Alberta. Canada, the top producer in oil and gas. And you want to turn off the spigot because you want to be a carbon neutral green energy bullshit. That's not. Green energy is expensive to make. Green energy is a scam. Don't you know that green energy is a scam? It's a scam and only benefits a few people. And you know who those people are, right? The people on top, the politicians on top, the lobbyists, the green energy companies that are paying them off. That's who it benefits. It doesn't benefit the rest of us. The green energy stuff. It's a scam. Okay? That's another reason why. I mean, look at Canada. You know, Alberta wants to succeed. From the rest of Alberta produces, I think, well, doesn't Alberta produce the most beef? And agriculture, they're up there in agriculture. They're their own little country, Alberta. They don't need the rest of Canada. The rest of Canada, unfortunately, is too crazy. It's too crazy. They're too fucking liberal. Alberta is a very conservative, hardworking province. They have good values. Not like fucking Toronto or Vancouver, who is a cesspool. It's a cesspool. You chime in on me and tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, Mr. Canada. Tell me if I'm wrong about Canada, that Toronto and Vancouver is a fucking cesspool. Tell me that, please. Tell me I'm wrong. You know? Tell me I'm wrong. You know? No, I am right. I'm right. Because I do my reading. I do my research before I come out here and start talking about Trump. It has nothing to do with Trump. Trump is not going to be here forever. Trump is not immortal. Trump is not immortal. He's not going to be here for another year. A year and a half, he's gone. And he's gone for good. It's not going to matter. Now, the next president that comes in, if it happens to be a Democrat communist, then we're going to pick up what we left off 4 years ago. We're going to let everybody back in here, and we're going to bankrupt this country. We're going to bankrupt this country. And Canada's not far behind. Canada, you got this guy. Trudeau resigned, and then now you got this other guy. He's just as liberal as Trudeau. He's useless. This other guy is just as useless. He's another useless prime minister you got. He has no spine. You know? You need a conservative guy in there that's going to stop this immigration nonsense, that's going to take it down to a trickling few people every day, not 2,000 people coming in every day. That's ridiculous. Come on, that's ridiculous. And then you're giving them free shit, free everything. And then you know what's worse about that? They didn't want to assimilate. They don't want to learn the language. They don't want to learn the language. They don't even want to respect the laws of the host country. And that's why I voted for Trump. He's not whatever. I don't care. I don't care what he did in the past. I don't care about the whole he's been married 3 times. Who am I to pass judgment on a man that's been married 3 times? Who am I? Who am I to pass judgment on all that? Who am I to pass judgment on that he filed bankruptcy and whatever? I don't care about all that. I just needed the man to do the job to cut this immigration shit out. I don't care. Get rid of as many people as you can, especially the criminals. And that's why I voted for him. That's why I voted for him. Because Kamala Harris wasn't going to do that. Okay? Kamala Harris was not going to do that. Believe me, she was not going to do that. She did nothing for vice president. She was a vice president for 4 years. Name one achievement that she did. Nothing. That's what she did. Nothing. Come on, bro. You can't come in here trying to troll me. Come on, I'm too good for that, bro. I'm too good for that. Can't do that. It's not about Trump. Get that shit through your head, people. It's not about Trump. It's not about Trump. It's about what's common sense. Any country that lets too many people come in here and give them free shit is looking to ruin their country. So you move to USA. I live in what I don't know what part you, I don't know. Do you even read my YouTube page? I live in New York. I was born in Puerto. If you know, not that I need to tell you, but I was born in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a Commonwealth of the United States. Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. So I'm a citizen. So we're all citizens. We're all citizens from birth. So I'm not no immigrant. I didn't come from I didn't need a visa to come here. I'm a citizen. I'm a U.S. citizen. I served in the military. I'm a U.S. citizen. You know? But yeah, before you come casting stones over here, you need to look at your own country. I did not move. I was born in Puerto Rico, and my mom brought us here when I was a baby. It's the same thing. If I live in Puerto Rico, it's still United States. If I live in Puerto Rico, we still use the U.S. dollar. Nothing changes. Casting stone to Trump is a fucktard. You really I hate to say it, bro. You're hopeless. I try to enlighten you, but you're hopeless. You're hopeless. You're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Everything is Trump that comes out of your head. You're the classic Trump derangement syndrome. You are. That's who you are. You cannot debate me without bringing his name in. You cannot debate me. You understand? Everything I laid out to you is facts about your country. You don't even know about Brampton, Ontario. You probably never even heard of Brampton. I mean, what part of Canada do you live in? Where in Canada do you live in? I'll tell you about your glorious country. Come on. Name every province in Canada, because I can name them. New Brunswick. Okay, so you're like quasi. Yeah, New Brunswick is quasi-liberal. Yeah, it's pretty much liberal. Although there is some conservative people in New Brunswick. Yeah, I know where's that. New Brunswick. I know where's that. So yeah, well, at least you're away from the cesspool. Yeah, nice and quiet in New Brunswick. It is a nice place. I would love to. I when I see New Brunswick, I do like New Brunswick. Newfoundland. I don't want to throw the bum out yet. Don't throw them out. Yeah, I know it's like Maine. I know that part of the Northeast is really nice. That's where the Ocean Gate. By the way, that's where the Ocean Gate. That titanium submersible. No. Excuse me. Carbon fiber. Exactly. Let me play. Relax, people. Relax. Mods, relax. Chill out. Yeah. That's where they launched the carbon fiber Ocean Gate suicide submersible. Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful. Let me tell you something. It is a beautiful part of the country. There's a YouTuber that I follow. He's from there. He does CB videos. He has a nice CB radio. It's a Cobra. He talks worldwide on it from there. He has a nice little place up there. And listen, guy, you sound like a semi-smart guy. You need to get off the Trump derangement syndrome. Stop talking about Trump, and your life will be better. Stop posting about Trump. Your life will be better. Let it go. Be a part of us. Look, I embrace you. Come and join us. You want to be a liberal? You could be a liberal. I embrace liberals. As long as you have common sense. I have friends that are liberals. Liberals may not like me, but I don't hate liberals. I embrace liberals. As long as you're not totally deranged. Like, you put on the ugly Trump again. Trump. No. Chill out. I suffered through 4 years of Biden. I didn't go crazy. When Biden was president, you know what I did? Literally, I took a lawn chair. I sat down and watched the country disintegrate before my eyes. That's what I did. I didn't go crazy every day posting about Biden. I knew he was gonna fuck up this country. You understand? I told people, I said, even people that were, close to my, my wife, co-workers, I told them, oh, you voted for him? Enjoy him for the next 4 years. Enjoy him. And what happened? He started letting everybody in. All your taxpayer dollars were going to fancy hotels in Manhattan, New York City. $1,000, what is it? $200-300 a night, $400-500 a night hotel rooms going to illegals. And they were trashing those rooms. So, listen, it's only a year and a half left, bro. Chill out. Relax. Learn how to relax. Don't go into a chat. Trump. Come on, don't do that. I don't do that. When I don't go to chats and say Trump. I don't do that. Come on, it's nobody's business who I voted for. I voted who I voted with my conscience because there was no other choice. It was common sense. I was not going to vote for Kamala Harris. Are you nuts? Imagine a world with Kamala Harris running this country right now. I mean, think about that. I mean, I don't know. You seem to be smart enough. I mean, think about it. Honestly, give me an answer. Do you think the world will be a better place with Kamala Harris right now? Do you really think so? I know you're probably going to say, yeah, because you're full of Trump derangement syndrome. I understand. It's not easy to deprogram. It's not easy to deprogram your brain. You're programmed to hate. You're programmed to hate Trump. That's the problem. I thought you Canadians were pretty mild-mannered people, jovial people, very happy people. And all I see from Canada is ugliness. I had another guy that I used to follow on another channel, and he had a meltdown as soon as Trump got inaugurated. When Trump was sworn in, he had a meltdown. I had to get rid of his ass. And I thought this guy was a mild-mannered, funny guy, but I saw the ugly side of this guy. He's like, and anybody that voted for Trump, you so stupid. So he insulted me too. He said I was stupid. This guy said I was stupid for voting for Trump. I mean, what kind of Canadian does that? What kind of person does that? You're supposed to respect your opponent. You're supposed to respect your opponent. I grew up playing sports. When I play sports, I played many games of different sports. Every time the game ended, you know what I did? Good game. I would shake their hand, and I would tell them, good game, or GG, good game. It was a hard-fought game, whatever. It was a good game. You always shake your opponent's hand. You didn't wish they were dead. You didn't wish they were in prison. You didn't wish any of that. I mean, you liberals out there are nuts. You're nuts. And I was gonna say that I feel sorry for people like you, but I don't, because that's who you are. That's who you are. Who you are. You're just consumed with Trump. Look, you just wrote it again. Oh, I've been to America lots of times, but no more until Trump is gone. The border's crazy now. The border's not crazy. He locked down the border. Border's crazy on your side because you guys are letting everybody in like dummies. Because you guys have no backbone. You guys have no backbone. What's the problem with Canada? You know, Canada talks so much elbows up. Elbows up. You know what? Elbows up, Canada. Yeah, you know what? Why don't you have your own army? Yeah, you do have a small army and air force. You don't even have a navy, basically. You know what? We'll say, okay, you know what? We're separate from you guys. You guys can, you're already NATO, because NATO is also spineless. We don't need you guys. We really don't need you guys. Don't you know that? You need us more than what we need you. We don't need you. Canada, we really don't need you. You need us. You need us for your defense. You need us for your existence. I hate to break it to you, Mr. Elbows Up, but, you sit here. When you sit here, you talk about Trump. Trump is nobody wants to travel to the U.S. We're hosting the World Cup. If you watch the viral videos of people all over the world praising the stadiums that we have, the World Cup, praising all the places that can go out to eat, and all the supermarkets. Yeah, have you been living under a rock? Oh, you probably have. You live in New Brunswick. I forgot. That's like in the corner of nowhere. The corner of nowhere, and whatever. You're like a stone's throw away. You're like in the corner of nowhere, a stone's throw away from the Arctic Circle. I forgot. So you have no concept of what's going on in yeah, you say you traveled here, but you haven't lived in a city like New York City. I grew up in New York City. I grew up in probably the biggest city you ever probably been to. I know every trick in the book. I know every trick in the book, bro. The problem is, you know what your problem is? You know what your problem is? I'm going to tell you what your problem is. Your problem is that you live in the middle of nowhere. You live in that corner province. There's nothing going on in your life. You probably drink all day because, the sun only is up for a few hours in that part of the country. I think the sun is only up for a couple of hours. So you're living in darkness most of the day. You got these birds, I forgot what these birds look like. They're the ones with the funny looking beak. You got those birds up there. You got the caribou. They're like the Muslim goats for you Canadians. Muslims love goats. You know why? Because they make nice housewives. So people like you probably love caribou. And you got nothing else to do. So you turn on the TV. And in Canada, you only have like two channels. CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Company, which is highly liberal. And then you probably put on the radio. You probably listen to some NPR DXing NPR. And you get spoon-fed all this anti-Trump bullshit. And that's your news source. Is BBC World Service, CBC, NPR radio, whatever, and that's it. So you're getting this spoon-fed indoctrination of, and probably everybody. By the way, everybody around you up there, I'm sure they're all liberal with the blue hair. You got liberals out there with the blue hair, with their nose ring, with their fucking nose ring and shit like that. With tatted up, like they get tatted up. They get tatted up. They think they're so special. They're like really special because they're tatted up. They think that shit is so fucking sexy. These fucking white women with the blue hair and the nose ring and their tatted up fucking body. They think they're special, but they're not special. They're like the most low IQ people on the planet. And that's who your neighbors are. And that's who you associate with. And you don't want to you don't want to be your own man because you're a beta. You're a beta guy. I could tell from reading this stuff, you're a beta. You're not an alpha guy. You're not a sigma guy like me. You're a beta. You're a beta. You're a beta. So you're going to follow everybody else. Yeah, we hate Trump. Yeah, elbows up. Elbows up. We hate Trump. Yeah. That's who you are. That's who you are. That's who you are. You're a beta, follower. You're brainwashed. You're full of Trump derangement syndrome. And you know what? You're pathetic. You're a pathetic person. And you try to pull out all these bullet points. Canada has beautiful women. Yeah, I'm sure they have beautiful women. I'm sure they have beautiful women too. I'm not knocking all women in Canada. But, the ones that you associate with, because, you're a diehard liberal in disguise as a moderate. You try to come here and you try to agree with me. You agree with me. You think when you agree with me, you think you're buttering me up and you're softening me up. No, you're not doing that. I know what I'm doing here. I'm good at what I'm doing. I've been doing this for years. I can host my own radio show. And people like you will be calling and your radio gold to me. You know why your radio gold to me? Because people will make comments after this live stream is over. I'm going to have comments saying how stupid you are. How stupid this guy is. That's what they're going to say. I'm going to say, yeah, unfortunately, you can't fix stupid. You can't. You can't fix stupid. You can't. You can't fix it. You can't. People that are programmed and brainwashed, you can't fix them. They're just going to go their natural way until... But by the way, what you liberals do, you turn on each other anyway. You turn on each other, you eat each other up, you cannibalize each other. Because that's what you guys do. So you know what? Thank you for stopping by here. I'm getting a little tired of you. You're getting boring now. You're not challenging me at all. You're not challenging me at all. You're not. You came here, you try to rage bait me. With Trump, because that's all you know. You're throwing out points that the liberal media has been telling you. That Trump is a crook. That Trump is whatever. And you're not doing that. You're not going to do that to me. You're not, because I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not a Trump thing. It's not a Trump thing. There's a bigger picture. I look at the bigger picture of this country. We just finished celebrating 250 years. You know what's 250 years in the scope of war history? That's nothing. 250 years for an existence of a country is nothing. You know how long the Roman Empire lasted? And they're no longer here. They're no longer here. You see what I'm saying? Ming Dynasty. They're no longer here. That was an empire. The Ottoman Empire. What are we talking about here? 800 years plus. What it was? Almost 1,000 years. Almost a millennium. So 250 years is young. This country is still young. But unfortunately, if we let communism keep, like what happened in New York City now and all that, because he's a communist mayor. If we let communism keep taking over all the office seats, we're not going to have a country by the next 250 years from now. This country I'll be long gone. I'll be long gone before the tricentennial. The tricentennial, 2076, I'll be long gone. Unless I live to live 110 years old, I don't think that's going to happen. Not with my body. Not with this physique. It ain't going to happen. Not with this model fitness. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But you guys in Canada are an accelerated express train to be a full communist country within the next 10 years. You're already there. You already have socialized. You already have socialized medicine. You already have socialized medicine. You're already halfway there. You're already halfway socialist country. And now you're gonna have all these other, tyrannical. I hope you can pronounce that word. Tyrannical laws. Alberta wants to succeed. We welcome Alberta to be the 51st state. Alberta, you're welcome to be the 51st state of this country. Because we love Albertans. We love Albertans. They're very conservative people, God-loving people, common sense people, oil and gas producing, beef, farming. Unlike the rest of the country, I cannot say the rest of the country don't have a high opinion of Toronto, don't have a high opinion of Vancouver. And where you are, you're probably safe there because, it's in the corner of nowhere. It's in the corner of nowhere where nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. And, at least you'll be safe there if there's a nuclear attack. So you got one benefit. And you could fish. You could do a lot of fishing there. A lot of good fishing must be from there. Yeah. So there you go. All right. So there you go. America will be fine, and Canada also. Well, yeah, it's fine for now because you know why it's fine? Because we have a president that put the brakes on this. That's why it's fine for now. But it's not going to be fine forever because there's going to be another president after Trump. And there'll be another one after that and another one after that. And eventually, unfortunately, we got a lot of stupid people in this country. There's a lot of people just like you that are brainwashed. Just like you that are brainwashed with this Trump derangement syndrome. And you're going to run out of excuses when Trump is not here no more. It's not a Trump thing. When he's gone, you can't blame Trump in 2030. You cannot blame Trump when it's 2036. Trump is only going to be here until 2028. And then he's gone. He's gone forever. He's going to be gone forever. And that's it. That's it. It doesn't matter. I don't know if his son is going to run one day. I don't know. Whatever. But he's gone. He's going to be gone in 28. I know that people talking about he wants to run for a third term. He's not going to happen. He's not going to run for a third term. He's not going to run. First of all, he's up there. He's like 86 years old or something right now. I don't know how old. He's not going to run for a third term. You know what Trump does? He's a master troller. He likes to troll you guys. He loves to troll. That's why, that's what I love about him. He loves to troll you liberals. All you liberals out there, he loves to troll you liberals. He trolls you. He likes to troll liberals. And we laugh at that. We say, oh my God, this guy, because we never had a president like that. You got to understand that. You got to appreciate that about the man. We never had a president that had the cojones. He's 80. Okay, thank you for clarification. We never had a president that had the cojones to say what we wanted to say. Because we wanted to say that. We have a president that actually speaks from us. Okay? That's why we like him. That's why we like him. That's why, like the liberals, they ignore him. They can ignore him all they want. It doesn't matter. The reality is he's going to be here for another year and a half or so, and then that's it. So you know what? You got to deal. You don't have to deal with it. That's fine. You don't have to deal with it. I'm not going to tell you to deal with it. You do what you want. You're a grown man. But when you come out here and you talk about Trump, you sound like a petulant little, spoiled little bitch. That's what you sound like. You sound like a baby. You know what you are? You're a baby. You're a man child. You sound like a man child. That's what you are. No matter how much I try to talk to you, you just, your comeback is Trump. It's Trump. That's your comeback. Everything is Trump. Is Trump that. All right, so there you go. So anyway, I'm done. You're boring me now. So have a good day, and there you go. I'll put you on a timeout for 24 hours. There you go. You had a timeout for 24 hours. There you go. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. There you go. All right, let me drink some water. My throat got dry. You know. Hey, listen. I'm good at what I do, man. I'm good at what I do, people. People need to recognize that. I don't back down from debate. Okay? I'd rather make that clear. I don't back down. I could have easily timed them out earlier but I said no, let me have a little material for the the replay. That's all. You know what I mean? Because nobody was on. In fairness, he was on when nobody was on. So, I gave him a chance. And I wasn't trying to convince him. I wasn't trying to convince him because that's not my job. My job is not convince him. And he goes, another. I guess you're the same one with the different. You sound like Trump sheep. Ha ha. Okay. No. That's your opinion. But I'm not Trump sheep. I voted for common sense. Is that supposed to hurt my feelings? What happened to the server? I'm talking about FMDX server crash. Oh, no, it didn't crash. Okay, it's right there. So I sound like Trump sheep. Okay, well, you're not hurting my feelings. If you think that's hurting my feelings, then I don't know what universe you're in, but you're not hurting my feelings. And by the way, if I had to be a sheep, I'd rather be a Trump sheep than a liberal. That's my comeback. You see what I'm saying? I still win because who wants to be a liberal in this day and age? Who wants to be a tranny? Oh, let's have trannies in women's bathrooms, open borders, vilifying law enforcement, have no accountability of what you do in life. No, I don't want that. Yeah, so I'd rather be a Trump sheep. So thanks. And be a liberal? Yeah, I'll be a Trump sheep. I'll stick it on my forehead. Still waiting for your comeback. Oh my God. Man, they're coming out of the woodwork today. Woo! They're coming out of the woodwork today, baby. Woo! Coming out of the woodwork, baby. Nice. Yeah, I know you're the same guy, or you've been listening in. Rising cost of living in Puerto Rico must make you move to the real USA. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. You know my story, bro. My mother brought me here when I was a toddler. So I grew up here. You has it worse than other immigrants. Whatever. I don't know what you're talking about now. I don't know. You're making no sense right now. You're making no sense. Anyway, let me catch up on the chat. So let's see. Let me catch up on the chat. I have to sift through all this stuff. Hello, James Farley. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Glenn Dassler. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, James Farley. Kamala Harris just wants to go on The View and sell her book. Who cares? Who cares? Either way, I don't care. That's her prerogative. She's writing a book. Listen, we live in a country where you can make anything you want, and if you can make money out of it, that's your thing. So be it. So she wants to go on The View, and that's by the way, that's the audience that's her audience. Hey, she could pitch a how you say pitch a book, pitch right? Sell the book. So yeah. That is the audience she's gonna cater to. Glenda says to throw the bum out. No, I let him stay. Yeah, exactly. James Foley, and he's playing cat with the mouse. Yeah. No, you know what? My thing is, I could easily say, there's other. By the way, there's other channels that do that. You see people, the difference between my channel and another channel, that he won't have that Discord. He wouldn't have that Discord, but I do. I welcome liberals in here. But you gotta be smart. If you're gonna keep, at some point I'm gonna get tired. I'm gonna say, okay, you gave me about 10 minutes of entertainment or whatever. I didn't even know how much time that whole exchange took. It must have been like 30 minutes. I don't even know. I lost track of time. Look, I've been out for an hour and 10 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes, just like that. Boom, an hour. Wow. This is what I'm talking about. I host my own radio show. I know sometimes I fly off the handle and I do that. Sometimes I do it, because I want to do it. But sometimes I really fly off the handle. That's fine. I'm human. But I didn't mind. I didn't mind exchanging with him. But I saw at some point I thought he was gonna come around a little bit. And when he said, "Yeah, I was right about Branton," yeah, I am right about. I'm right about a lot of things. I'm right, even when I'm wrong. I'm right. Come on, man. Like Tony Montana, I tell the truth even when I lie. Come on, man. Yeah. Hello, Tasso. Just finished lunch here. Okay, I hope you enjoy your lunch. Heading back to work. Okay, enjoy your day, my friend. I'm probably gonna go outside in about an hour or so. I'm gonna start cleaning the backyard. Today's a nice day. It's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. It's sunny. It's a beautiful day. It's a perfect day. It's a real nice day today. I'm not gonna be out too long. Now I'm maybe up for another hour or so, and then right now it's gonna be 2:00 in the afternoon here. I want to be outside by 4:00, and then plus I want to cook hamburgers and hot dogs for my son. I'll probably cook some for my brother too. I'll invite him down. Even though he doesn't appreciate anything I do, but I'm just that type of guy. I'm a nice guy. I'm still a nice guy. I'm not gonna change who I am. I'm not gonna change who I am, even though my brother's a dickhead. But what are you gonna do? John Ludbrook, UK, right? How many more times did we take this? We can no longer have good government and conservative power. I think Prime Minister Labour now too. Okay. James Foley said, "Get off my server." John Ludbrook, our country is mad compared to. You sound like Trump sheep. We changed it. That's Astus Python AI. I don't know what the other stuff is. I'm just gonna say Astuces. John, look, yeah, I don't understand. That's one thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that. John Ludbrook. We change leaders in the UK like every. I know. You guys like have a prime minister like every 2 years. I don't know how that works. I never really looked into that. How does the UK prime minister get elected, and what does he do? Because I know you guys have parliament. Like we don't have a parliament. We have the House of Representatives, and then we have the Senate, right? Congress and the Senate, and then of course the executive branch. But yeah, it's weird. I always thought about that, but maybe I should really read up on that. Why I said that's the case. I'm gonna read the rest of it, and then I'm gonna address it because apparently right now you're still deranged. You're still deranged. And by the way, calling me a moron is not offensive to me. Don't you know that? You're not offending me. You're not. I know you're rage. I know you're rage baiting. That's what you're doing. You're rage baiting. Let me fix my camera. You're rage baiting, but you're not. You're not hurting my feelings. That's the difference between. By the way, that's the difference between someone like me and a liberal. You guys get your feelings hurt. You guys think with your feelings. I think with logic and common sense. See, that's the problem with you guys. That's the problem with you. You're right now. You're in rage. You calm down. You're in rage. You're unreliable power grid, collapsing education and healthcare, lack of high-paying jobs. Puerto Rico looks like another country. Looks like other country. Listen. Last time I went to Puerto Rico, I'm gonna address this to you. I'll address it to you. Last time I went to Puerto Rico was 1988. That's a long time ago. Puerto Rico has changed. Of course, you got to remember Maria gave it a real setback. When I went to Puerto Rico, I knew the power grid was already fragile. I lived in Puerto Rico for 2 years, by the way. 1977, 1978, 1979. We briefly went to Puerto Rico for 2 years. Back then, the power grid was very fragile. Puerto Rico, it is what it is, an island. It depends on what part of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, if you go to Puerto Rico, you got San Juan, right? Área Metropolitana. You got all the, big city. It's a city. It's a city. And then the rest of the country is kind of like not so populated. It's very quiet, except for, pretty much. So, that's the way it is, So, of course, when Maria happened, the only people that really didn't suffer is San Juan. They had a lot of people had generators and solar power and all that. The rest of the country was in the dark, was really in the dark. Because it's like my mom's hometown, where she grew up at, is rural. It's very rural. It's like one road that goes up the mountain, and there's a narrow road. So you can't have like big trucks going through that road. It's a very narrow road. And it's a two-way road. But sometimes you got to pull over to the side to let the other car go by. It's like that. It's very rural. So, of course, listen, I don't got to tell you why my mom moved. She moved for other reasons. Some people know why. It's none of your business why she moved. So stop with that nonsense. My mom came here because she had to move. I'll leave it at that. All right? I know what you're trying to do, but you right now you sound like a fucking stupid little kid. That's what you sound like. You sound like an uneducated fucking retard. And I don't care if it's not politically correct. You sound like a fucking retard. That's what you sound like right now. You sound like, you sound like really a stupid, low IQ person. That's what you sound like. You understand? That's what you sound like. You sound like a low IQ person. And it's unfortunate, but you do sound like that. So, you're trying to bring up all these bullet points. It doesn't matter. You're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. That should be already a medical condition with you. You're full of rage. You need to learn how to relax. Listen, I don't tell people to go smoke weed. Maybe you need to smoke weed. You probably need to smoke weed. You are a candidate for cannabis. You understand? For medical marijuana. Somebody like you, because you're deranged. Right now, you're deranged. You sound deranged. You sound deranged. I'm weak. That's gonna hurt my feelings. You're not hurting my feelings. Don't you understand that? You're not hurting my feelings. Right now, everybody in the chat is looking at you, and they're saying, right now, people in the chat saying, this guy really looks stupid. This guy is what is wrong with this guy? He just sounds stupid. Like, what is your purpose of being here? Are you trying to change me? You're not going to change me. You're not going to change anybody in this chat. And I'm sure you're probably somebody from another channel. You might be somebody from another channel that probably is, I don't know, jealous of this channel. I don't know what's going on with you. Who knows what's going on with you? But it's unfortunate. You could come in here and be smart and try to have a smart discussion. But you could come in here, you're weak defending yourself. You keep writing ha 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 ha. You just write LOL. Or use use one of these, bro. You could have used this, bro. You could have used you could have used this emoji. You could use something like that. You don't have to write ha ha ha. Like you sound like you're laughing by yourself, like a crazy person. I mean, come on, bro. Like seriously, like what is wrong with you? Why you have to attack. Attack what? Your mother moved, just like it doesn't matter. It's none of your business what she did. What's the point? Why you keep bringing up my mother? First of all, my mother's long gone. I believe she did the right thing. My mom did the right thing at the right time, just like a lot of people do. And by the way, I don't need your blessing. I don't need your blessing. Don't try to butter me up. I don't need your blessing. Let me go back up here. I'm reading some of your stuff. I'm reading it because you know what? This is why I want people to see. I want people to see that I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. You come in here, you want to troll. I get it, bro. That's fine. My moms right now can just lay down the hammer on you, but I'm telling them not to do anything because I want you to see. I want you to read how stupid you sound because you sound stupid. You really do sound stupid, and you sound deranged. It's not even stupid. You sound deranged, which is worse. You sound like something's mentally wrong with you, and you're seeking attention, and it's sad. It's really sad to see this from somebody. Come on. You sound really sad and pathetic. Yeah. Hello, Todd. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Good afternoon. John Ludwig, we go through many times in 5 years. Every time it's screwed. I know. I don't understand. Yeah, I agree with that, James Farley. I think Maggie Thatcher was the best prime minister in the UK. In recent history, I agree. I think she was the best prime minister. No, Todd, Danny, did you get your antenna fixed? No, the end fed, I still rolled. That's why I'm going to go outside today. I'm going to go outside later. I'm going to clean up the yard. I'm going to roll it up. I'm going to bundle up the wire. I'm going to look at the wire. See if there's any damage. But I think it's just the wire got pulled away from the balance. So the wire should be all intact. And then what I'll do is I'll reconnect it. But I probably won't do that today. I'm just going to bundle it up and put it in the corner. So, but I don't think it's broken. I think it just pulled away from the balance. The balance is a connector. Wire connects to the connector. So I just probably pulled it up. So it shouldn't be an issue. You sound like broken records. I don't sound like a broken record. I'm just saying what I'm saying. So I don't understand that. By the way, you can donate to PayPal. The link is there. You can also become a member, 99 cents a month. Hey, it's a great deal, 99 cents a month. You get to see stuff like this. I can have my own radio show if I wish I could have my own radio show, but maybe I should send this material in. And yeah. John Ludbrook, honestly say Chuck, that guy, when that guy Common Sense out of window used to be Maggie, 11 years, the other guy 7 year Blair. Yeah, I think Maggie. I think the one that goes back to the one that comes to mind is I did like Margaret Thatcher. She was a good prime minister. I think overall she was a good prime minister. I think she was. John Blair was not bad either. I think John Blair was. I think he's good. I think he was good too. Now I don't know about the domestic stuff, but the one you have now, these people are nuts. These liberals are ultra. They're nuts now. They have no backbone. They have no spine. Imagine that a NATO ally did not want the Americans to fly from the UK into Iran, like use the bases in England, in UK. Use the Air Force base in UK to launch the operations into Iran. And they said no. Of course, he rescinded after that. But he said no. Same thing with Meloni in Italy. Same thing happened. We wanted to use the Air Force. We wanted to use the bases there to, instead of flying all the way from across the Atlantic. Well, we have other bases anyway. Same thing with Germany. Germany did the same thing. So you know what? Trump is right. If I were, he's talking about pulling out of NATO completely. I wouldn't mind that, because they're irrelevant now. Just like the UN is irrelevant too. That's another organization that's irrelevant, is the United Nations. And we should take that building and turn it into an apartment building. The UN building in Manhattan, we should take that building, get rid of them, and turn that into a high-rise luxury apartment building. There you go. Because the UN is useless. That's another useless organization. So yeah, I already read all this. Yeah, I am weak defending yourself. Ha ha ha. Let me make sure I get it with you though. Ha 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 ha. Okay, 4 ha's. All right. Point on. When I speak the truth, you sound like Trump. Ha 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 ha. It's very good. Very good. There you go. You sound like Shep. Like Shemp? You mean like from the Three Stooges? I sound like Shemp from the Three Stooges? I sound like Shep? You need to slow down on your writing, bro. You too triggered, bro. Right now you triggered. You're like, arr, arr, arr! I sound like Shep. Yeah, Gillen, that's yeah, he is low IQ. He's used your he's your for you. Yeah. Why is different for your man? You keep talking about my. I don't know. Why you keep asking about my mom? I don't know. My mom is long gone. She's gone, bro. You keep asking about my mom. Why you got some kind of crazy fetish? What's wrong with you, bro? Have some respect, bro. If you don't know anything about America, the United States has several territories, right? Puerto Rico is one, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, Marshall Islands, okay? And I think there's another one. I can't remember off the top of the other one. But those are territories of the United States. They're not states. They're not states. They're just territories. So each of those states, they're granted automatic citizenship. That's it. By the way, there's a lot of colonies in the world that are granted automatic citizenship to whichever country colonized them at the time. This goes back to colonialism. Excuse me. Like, for example, Suriname, right? That's my wife's birthplace, Suriname. Suriname was a colony of the Netherlands. They speak Dutch. If you're born in Suriname, you're automatically a Dutch citizen. You can travel to the Netherlands with no visa. Same thing if you was born in Curacao or Curacao. How you pronounce it? Curacao, Curacao. Another Dutch colony in the Caribbean. If you're born in Curacao, you're automatically a Dutch citizen. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand about colonialism, how it works? So there's countries that are still territory of another country. Like Greenland. Let's talk about Greenland. Greenland is a territory of Denmark. Thank you, American Samoa. That's the other one I was missing. Thank you, Jace Farley, American Samoa. Greenland is a colony of Denmark. So if you live in Greenland, you're automatically a Danish citizen. Okay? You see what I'm saying? So Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. Since 1898, after these, remember, Puerto Rico before that was a colony of Spain. Okay? It was a colony of Spain, but we had a war with Spain. The United States had a war with Spain. It didn't last too long. 1898, Spanish-American War. We defeated Spain. So Spain, as a terms of surrender, they gave up the Philippines. The Philippines was a colony of Spain too. So they gave up the Philippines. The Philippines became independent. Cuba, they gave up Cuba because there was also Cuba was a colony of Spain. Cuba became independent. Although we do have a base there, Guantanamo Bay. And then Puerto Rico was also a colony of Spain. So Spain stayed here. So we took Puerto Rico as a territory. So we grant them automatically citizen. They became citizen, automatic U.S. citizen. Puerto Rico is like every other territory. They use the American dollar. Everything is the only thing is we cannot vote in Puerto Rico. They cannot vote for the president. They have local elections they can vote for, but they cannot vote for president. There is no delegates in Puerto Rico for the presidency. So when the president runs, when you run for president, you need your delegates, right? No, Puerto Rico is not a state. It's a territory. So they don't vote for president. They only vote for their local stuff. The only thing is they have the U.S. dollar, and there's other stuff like, if I remember, I don't know about the federal income tax thing. I think they do not pay. Well, they do pay. I don't know how that is now. By the way, with the income tax. So there you go. Okay, so it's not about where ICE is going to come and deport Puerto Ricans. It doesn't work that way. We're granted citizenship by birth, automatic citizenship by birth, just like your U.S. Virgin Islands. If you're born there, you're American citizen automatically. If you're born in American Samoa, you are a citizen of the United States. If you're born in Guam, you're a citizen of the United States. If you're born in the Marshall Islands, you are the U.S. Marshall Islands, because there's a couple of islands that are not U.S. And you come on, bro. You need to throw facts at me, bro. I don't know where you at now. I don't know if you're Googling stuff. You're Googling Trump derangement stuff. I'm waiting for your comeback. But there you go. Okay? We're automatically granted citizenship. So I have a right to travel in the United States just like any other citizen in the United States. I don't need a passport. You understand? Travel in the USA. I don't need a same thing if I want to travel to Guam. I don't need a passport. If I want to travel to American Samoa, I don't need a passport. I just go. There's no visa. There's no visa. There's no passport. Okay? Even though they're like, by the way, Puerto Rico, it has their own flag. They do have their own flag. They do have their own anthem. They do have their own official language, which is Spanish. The official language of Puerto Rico is Spanish. But everything else is, American dollar. We use the same money, same currency. There's no same thing if you go to American Samoa. There's no American Samoa dollars. They're U.S. dollars. Okay, so and that's a benefit. Actually, we're blessed by that. What would be the alternative of Puerto Rico? Imagine Puerto Rico becoming Cuba, and that could have happened. That fate could have happened. Back in 1898, if the United States would have said, "Oh, you know what, Puerto Rico, you also not only we liberated you from Spain, but you could be your own independent country." What do you think would have happened in Puerto Rico? after, let's say, Cuban Revolution, they probably would have become communists too. Because, by the way, there is now I won't say majority. There is quite a few people in the in Puerto Rico that want independence. They want total independence, and some of them want communism. But unfortunately for them, there's still the majority of Puerto Ricans want. Some of them want statehood. It's split 50-50, almost. We did a referendum recently, but it barely didn't get statehood. It was still keep it the way it is right now. But I think one day it will be a state. I think it maybe, probably not in my lifetime, but I think eventually. But right now it doesn't benefit. I know the liberals, I know the Democrats would love Puerto Rico to be a state because that's more liberal electoral votes or Democrat electoral votes. They will love Puerto Rico to be a state. And Washington, D.C., by the way, District of Columbia is not a state. They want to turn D.C. into a state. So that's two of them right there. That's two, Puerto Rico and D.C. If they were to turn those two into states, that's more electoral votes for the presidency. And by the way, more houses, more seats for the House and Senate. So, by the way, I bet you didn't know that, Mr. Python. You don't know anything. I know because you're a dummy. You're too wound up. You're too wound up with Trump derangement syndrome. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of stupid people in this world. There's a lot of stupid people in this country. There's a lot of stupid people in Canada. Definitely. I mean, you guys just lost CHU. You guys lost CHU and the weather ban in a span of a month. In the span of 1 month, you lost the weather ban and CHU. You Canadians are really not the sharpest tool in the shed. You're like little brother to us. You're a little brother. You want to smack him in the head. Come on. Come on. You're like Fredo. You ever seen The Godfather? You're Fredo. That's what Canada is. You're Fredo. You're Fredo. I'm smart. But, USA is the big brother. USA is the big brother, the one that really, reflex, baby. But you're Fredo. You're Fredo. You're Fredo. You're like, I'm smart. I can do things. And of course, you know what happened? Vito whacked his own brother when their mom passed away. Vito he made a promise to his mother not to hurt Fredo. I believe I remember the exact thing. But anyway, he said he was not gonna make, because he did he did double cross him. Fredo. He did double cross Vito. He sidewinded, whatever you want to call it. So Vito said, yeah, I'm gonna make him pay. I mean, excuse me, not Vito, Michael Corleone, not Vito, Michael. So of course, as soon as their mom passed away, Michael, they took Fredo out on the boat and they whacked him. Pow, whacked him. Took care of his brother. He killed his own brother because he was an idiot. He was a fucking moron. He was a fucking backstabber. And that's what Canada is. Canada's a backstabbing, moronic, useless piece of landmass that, you know what, we should fucking have it. We should have it as a fucking 51st state because you guys are too stupid up there to do anything right. So there you go. I fucking said it. You don't like it? Go fuck yourself. Go fucking sit on a cactus. There you go. How you like them motherfucking apples? Yeah! So why do you want to attack when I hit the point? You sound like a fucking moron. John Lover, this guy wants to split the UK. He wants another 10 Downing Street in Manchester, and I want to leave my own country. Britain is still a great country. I love England. But England is not the same now because of liberalism. It's liberals. It's liberalism that's killing every country that's losing their identity because they, you understand the way liberals are is that they work on feelings. They work on feelings. They're not common sense people. Everything about them is feelings. Well, that's not true, John Ludbrook. At least we have one leader in the USA. No, there is check and balances. We have a president, but remember, he doesn't have absolute power. He does not have absolute power. We have a Senate, and we have we have a House, the House of Representatives, and we have the Senate. There's checks and balances. So he doesn't have absolute power. So I think number 10 Downing Street should be Airbnb rented out. Okay. Yeah. John, but Ben Face took online. It's been all over UK TV news media and the UK saying that he did a better job than. Well, I would like to see Nigel Farage. I really think Nigel Farage is the guy you need. Nigel Farage. That's the guy that you guys need right now. Common sense guy. He was the, you know what? He was the first guy that really spoke out about immigration over 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Nigel Farage. He's the one that spoke out. When England wanted to secede from the European Union, I know a lot of people said that was a mistake. That was not a mistake. That was not a mistake. Because you know what? Who the hell is another country to tell my country what to do? England is England. Why should a person in Brussels, Belgium, tell me what to do with my country in England? Who the fuck is he? And that's why England succeeded from the European Union. You understand that? You have your own identity. You've been England for thousands of years. I said this a long time ago. The European Union or the EU was the biggest mistake that happened. Because now you got countries that don't want to pull their weight. You got other countries that are industrial power, like Germany. Germany is an industrial power. But you got a country like, I don't know, Romania. They're just, I don't know what the fuck they have in Romania. Why are we pulling their weight? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about. So that was a big mistake. The whole European Union, because they try to model like United States of America. They try to, but it's not the same. United States of America, we all have one common language, is English. And there's only one culture in the United States. It's just a melting pot, whatever. Europe is Europe. It's been like that for thousands of years. England is England. Germany is Germany. They're two different languages and cultures and history and all that. You cannot make them into like a United States type thing. It's not going to work. Same thing with France. It's another country. It's French. They have their own history. Same thing with Spain, Italy. It's another country that have their own history. It goes back to Rome. You try to make this into like a United States type deal. It's not going to work. That's why they're in what they're in now. It's not. I knew this from in the 90s that was never going to work. Okay? I knew this. The European Union, it looks good on paper. It's not going to work. I know they have the euro and all that because they just want to, you know why they did the euro? Because they just want to compete with the dollar. That's all. That's the reason why they did it. It's an economic thing. But politically, culturally, it's not going to work. You know, It's just too diverse of cultures. Now you want to involve Ukraine in NATO. Ukraine, which is a Russian, that used to be a Russian satellite. That was a Russian satellite, a Soviet satellite. So that's Ukraine, Russian, Ukrainian. Now you want to include them in NATO. It's too many different cultures. European Union is not the United States. It's not. It's just too many different cultures, too many different languages. I could have told you that back in 1990, whatever, that it was not going to work out. So when England decided to leave the EU, I mean the European Union, whatever, what it was, you know what I mean. They did the right thing. I know people question it. They were like, "Oh no, it's the right thing." England is their own country. They've been around. They have their own rich history, just like Germany has their own rich history. You know, I think it's a mess. It's a mess the way it is now. It's a mess. They're not the United States. The United States is a very unique country. And it's not that it's diverse, but it's not like, you know, it's not the European Union. It's not. You just, even within England, you have Scotland, you have Ireland, you have Northern Ireland, you have, you know, come on. That alone. So when people talk about, you know, it just, you know. Anyway. Hello, my radio DX, sir. What a mess to replacing the battery on the radio. Oh, I didn't know it was going to be so bad. Wow. I thought when you open the radio, it'd be right there. Where's my radio at? Oh, it's upstairs. I have it upstairs. Actually. So when you open it up, it's not right there. I don't know. Anyway, I think I did post. If you could take pictures of it, just for reference in the future, in case anybody needs to do a replacement battery or something. Right now, my battery is fine. I fully charge my battery. I get all, you know, I get the full charge. When I unboxed mine, it was already fully charged. And then I used the, when I unboxed it, I let the battery drain down to like 2 bars. And then I fully charged it again. So right now, my battery life on that radio is pretty good. For 2 hours, 3 hours, I have it running, and I have never had to shut it off on me. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to be careful with those little connectors. Sometimes they even put a little super. Sometimes I don't know. I hope they didn't put no like hot glue. I know sometimes people do that. I don't know. I don't know if I remember. There might have been. I seen other videos that they might have put a little hot glue on it or something, so people won't. But yeah, I know the JC battery connector. So it's like 2 pins. It's similar to. By the way, no, I'll take that. Yeah, it's similar to the, if you open up the mini SI 4732, the battery I think is like that too. It has a little connector. So if you want to place I think the battery for the I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. Yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta finagle it. You gotta take your time. Sometimes with things like that, you gotta take your time and finagle it. And then, yeah, it could be hair. It could be what's the word I'm trying to use? It could be harrowing. That's why. By the way, the connector for the antenna is like that too. You got to be careful when you pull it out. You gotta. I use a tweezer first, but then I wound up doing it with my finger. I just finagle a little bit, pull it out. Now, when you snap it back in, it only goes one way. And I know Tasso, I think he's in the process of doing that. Oh, he did it already. I don't know if he did it. You gotta line it up right and just push it in there and it snaps. If you do it the wrong way, you can easily bend the connector or mushroom it. So it's very delicate. It is very delicate. It's so tiny. It's very delicate. It's like a mini, that JST connector. It's like a mini. It kind of reminds me of the fan connector for the PC, but it's much smaller. It's very tiny. That JST connector that you mentioned. So yeah. So Mary Diaz, it was a pin on, yeah, like a mini Molex, yeah. It was the pins to the JST battery connection on the board. They got damaged when I get it disconnected. Excuse me. When I get disconnected, it was too tight. Yeah, that's probably too tight at first. But I found an alternative, which I posted now on Discord. Okay, so I'll look at it later. James Farley, they call it a hot snot in England. Okay. Mary Dick said it could have been worse. And I damaged the board when pulling out the connector, but it did not happen. It's still working fine. I will do a video on my solution. Okay. Yeah. Todd, yeah, I know about that building. The building that's yeah, because what happened with that building is they were making an addition. They added some other floors because they were converting that building into an apartment building. And the structural beam started bending. And yeah, it's a mess. And they had to evacuate a whole bunch of the surrounding buildings. They evacuated a whole bunch of people now. So now a whole bunch of people are inconvenienced. They closed down the streets around that area. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on with that. Yeah. So yeah, they had the news on the building in New York City that's falling down. So yeah. Well, they're trying to prevent that. So right now, I guess within they're trying to assess what's going to happen now. And I think what they're trying to do is they want to see if they can strengthen it up. But I don't know. I think what's going to happen is I think they're going to have to, they're going to strengthen. I think they're going to, I'm not an expert. I'm not a structural expert or whatever, but this is my opinion. Not an expert, people. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to stabilize it so it doesn't collapse. And then they're going to have to dismantle it. They're going to have to, the part that's affected, the part above it, they're going to have to dismantle all of that. They're going to have to tear it down, piece by piece. That's going to take a long time. It's going to take months. It's going to take many months, probably. They're going to have to dismantle it and leave it the original. Because remember, what happened with that building is the original building, right? And then they built on top of the original building. They added more floors on top of the original building. So I guess that's what happened. They added floors on top of the original building. So what they're going to have to do now, they're going to have to stabilize that, build that extra floor. They're going to have to stabilize it, and then they're going to have to take it down one by one. They're going to have to leave it. They're going to have to go back down to the original. Because apparently whoever did it, it's done wrong. That's it. So, you know what I mean? They're going to have to deconstruct they're going to have to deconstruct the original. Not the original. They're going to have to deconstruct the addition. Just, because the rest of the building is fine. It's just from where the addition started above. That's where all the structural damage is going on. So they're going to have to stabilize it and then deconstruct it or tear it down. Yeah. John Love, they hate our pound Europe when we split, mucking up the economy, European. That's nothing exactly. Europe, England has their own currency, which is very strong, by the way. The British pound is still a strong currency. So, of course, they wanted you to give up the British pound for the euro. You see what I'm saying? So England did the right thing. They did the right thing. They say, you know what, we don't need you guys, Europe. Thank you very much. We're fine. We're our own sovereign nation. We've been okay for thousands of years. We don't really need you guys. So you guys want to govern your own stuff, fine. But we have our own. Yeah, I want to move on from this. Anyway, he's gone, whatever. I guess he got tired of looking stupid. He had no answer. Of course, he has no answer. Liberals don't have an answer. They just post stuff with their feelings. Mary Dix, for my next Wi-Fi radio, it will be one that has accessible battery compartment, harmless, and I mentioned that they should have made these radios with any radio that has a built-in battery, a rechargeable battery inside. They should have a compartment where you can at least access the battery. I guess that would have raised the price of the radio a little bit. That would have added to the price of the radio. I guess that's the problem. That's the problem. It would have raised up. Like for example, the boom box I have over there, the GPX boom box, right? The boom box. That one has 18650 inside. You can see it. So it's probably the same thing. If that battery ever couldn't hold the charge anymore, I would have to open up the back of the boom box, and But yeah, it should, Those connectors are just for assembly, not for replacement. Actually, they are for replacement batteries. But they could have easily, by the way, they could have easily soldered the two leads into the board. They didn't need the connector. The connector is there because the connector is there for when if you need to replace the battery, you can just pull the connector. The problem is that Maverick DX had a tough time taking out the connector. But the connector is there for you to remove it. It's just those connectors are very delicate. They're not. They're sometimes especially if like you say, his was tight. Like those, and some of them they have a notch. So when you put it in there, it's supposed to snap. For you to take it out, you gotta pull the tab gently, and you're gonna have to do that with a fine tweezer, and then you can pull it out. It's not you just put it in. I think most of them you just put them in, but I've seen some that you put them in, and they have a tab, and there's an opening on the female side, and it snaps in that tab. So for you to take it out, you gotta push the tab in and pull it out. So maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm just saying that it could be that type of connector too, because I've seen on other stuff connectors like that with the tab, so it won't snap out. But they have some with the tab that it snaps in, and you can't just pull it out. You have to push the tab in to pull it out. So I've seen something like that. That too. Yeah, but you got it working. So if you got it fixed and working, then you shouldn't have an issue with the battery anymore. That battery's gonna last you for a long time. Battery's gonna last you a long time. So that battery didn't have a charge. Maybe that battery, like I say, battery was probably going bad or something, or maybe, well, I don't assume, but yeah, just like a mini Molex. James Foley said those connectors are just for assembly, No, they're also for replacing. It's just that you got to be careful with those things. All those little connectors, you got to be careful with them. What I use, I have a real thin tweezer. I grab the connector. As nothing, don't grab it by the wire. Well, I know he knows that. I'm not telling him that he knows all that, but. When you take a connector like that, you never grab it by the wire. You have to grab it by the connector. And sometimes it's hard. If you don't have fingernails like me, you need a tweezer and try to pull it with the, you got to pull the connector out. Some people don't do that. You'd be surprised. Some people, they just never dealt with that. They try to pull it by the wire. And when you pull it by the wire, you wind up taking the wire out and leave the connector in there. I've seen that happen. I never did that, but I've seen it happen. I know better. I know better than to pull it from the wire. You never pull a connector from the wire. You have to grab the connector and pull it for the connector. So if your fingers are not, like me, I have such a finger. I use tweezers and I try to grab it and things like that. Yeah. See, so you use tweezers. Yeah. John Ludwig Rolls-Royce done deal with USA, not listening to UK government, and they stuck their fingers up. Yeah, Rolls-Royce is a big company. Yeah, like jet engines. We do have aircraft that use Rolls-Royce engines. So yeah, because they make jet engines too for a lot of aircraft makers, including Boeing. Maro DX, I could solder the connection to the battery, but using an external battery pack provides more power, so I'm happy to use one instead. Okay. Yeah, I got to see what you did. Yeah. I did use tweezers too, but it was really stuck on tight. Yeah. Also, if for example, if the connector was too tight, you could have just cut the wire, right? You know that. You could have just cut the wire right there leading to it, and then hook up the other connector, cut the wire, and then just solder the two wires, heat shrink, and that's it. Could have done that. And I probably would do that now if I have to do it again. If I see the connector the way it is, I probably would just heat shrink. Leave enough of the wire sticking out. You cut it to the way the battery. Then with your battery with the wire, I would just cut the connector on that one. Join the two wires. Right, solder the two wires, and then of course put a heat shrink. Have the heat shrink. That's it. Then the same thing. The wire. The battery's still going to be in there. Maybe with the battery, what I do, maybe you just put a piece of tape on the board, tape it to the board so it doesn't move around, or whatever. I have to see the how it looks in there. Oh. Let me go upstairs for a minute. I'll be right back. Let me go check on my son. Be right back. No, he's still sleeping. Still sleeping. So let me as soon as he wake up, I'm gonna make him burgers and hot dogs. I'm gonna cook it on the air fryer. I'm gonna make him some French fries. Cook up a couple of burgers, hot dogs. So I already cleaned the kitchen. That's why I said let me stream for a couple of hours. I clean the kitchen. Oh, dishes and pots and things like that. So I was gonna clean the yard, but I'll wait till later for that. After I eat, I'll go outside around 6 o'clock or so. I'll sweep up the yard because I still got the fireworks all over the grass. The spent fireworks. So I need to pick that up and throw in the trash. And then tonight I got to put out the trash anyway. So that's why I figured let me do that later. That's why I'm out for a couple. I'm gonna be for maybe another hour, and then I'll wrap it up. Anybody want to chime in? Please chime in. Don't wait till I'm leaving. Oh, come on. Yeah. So you see, that's what and I tell you guys. See, listen, I can debate with anybody. This guy wants to come on. He wants to troll. I know what he was trying to do. He's trying to he just wants to come on and do a drive. I call it a drive-by. They want to come and do a drive-by. You see, that's why sometimes, this course I was thinking about subscribers only today, but I'm like, I normally don't do subscribers only, but I how you say, I don't mind, the discussion. I don't mind. I don't care. But the guy who was just one way, and kept, calling me names and all that moron and whatever, whatever. It doesn't hurt me, that's something. That's why you see that. See, I'm trying to teach you young guys out there. You young guys, you know who you are, especially the kids. Words are words. Don't let words hurt you. Don't give people power when they try to insult you. Okay? Don't do that. That's what happened. If you get offended because you're giving people power to offend you, to me they're irrelevant. And that's the difference between me and this guy. I don't let people get to me like that. I don't care. That's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. You don't like Trump. I get it. Me, I voted for Trump. I like Trump. Is he can I defend him on everything? No, I can't. Sometimes he does things that I'm like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? But that's who he is. That's it. It's not gonna change. And when I voted for him, there was one other alternative. And it was a crazy cackling woman. And I was not going to vote for that. There's no way in the world I was going to vote for that. That's it. And I live with that decision. I'm still glad I did that. I'm still glad. Because this country was heading in a real bad direction. So you can call me sheep. You're not hurting my feelings. You can call me sheep. Call me all this. That's fine. Because that's your opinion. That's your opinion. It's okay to have your opinion. We live in the greatest country in the world where you can have your own opinion and not worried about, you can't do this in Cuba. Have an opinion of the government. You wind up in a jail. In some Cuban jail. Or in another dictator country. North Korea. Try to talk bad about the North Korean government. You'll be in a prison camp. Death sentence, probably. You see what I'm saying? Some people out there, when you come in here, you're going to troll. You're not hurting my feelings. I welcome people to come in here like that, and then we have a dialogue, and then that's it, and then, whatever, and that's it. But you know what? I want to show people that this channel, I don't censor people like that. The other channels do that. Other channels, if you try to bring up anything about anything, they shut you down. They shut you down right away. And I'm not going to do that here. I don't want to shut people down. You're entitled to your opinion. That's fine. I got friends that are liberals. I got friends that don't like him. But they're not really my friends anymore because they're really, because what happens is they associate and say, oh, well, you're just as, you know what I mean? Like they know better than that. They grew up with me. That's why that's why I cut all those people off in the Bronx. Because they all turned out to be like crazy liberals. Like I thought they were really tough people growing up in the Bronx, but some of them turned out to be the most liberal, sensitive people. You know, so but me, I welcome people to come in here and have a dialogue. You know, I do. But you know, but after a while, when you keep hurling stuff at me, like, you know, it gets old. I was like, okay, this is the best you have to try to insult me. Like, you're not insulting me. You're looking, you know, like that guy looked like an ass. He looked stupid. He looked, you know, like Trump derangement syndrome. That's all. The first guy, Canadian, it was the same guy. Once he got time out on the other one, he came back with another account. That's what he did. And he tried to keep talking about my mother. Why my mother came here. That's none of your business why my mother came here. You know, like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, he has a fixation about my mother. Have you seen a picture of my mom when she was alive? You know, come on. Like, that's creepy. Like, stop mentioning my mother. Like, I find it to be creepy. And for all I know, this guy is probably not that guy from Canada. Maybe it's another guy from another channel that just really is jealous of my channel. You have to be jealous of my channel. You want a channel like mine, you have to work hard for it. You have to put in the work, you know. I have 1,200 videos uploaded. Around 936,000 views now. I'm approaching, you know, well, I'm getting there to 950, and then we're gonna do the countdown for 1 million total views. I have 6,666. 6,000. I checked it earlier. It was 66666. Now it's 6667. 67. So, you know, I'm over 6,600 subscribers. I'll probably hit 7,000 by the end of the year. You know, you don't have to be jealous. I can hold an audience. You know, I mean, I can talk for hours. I live stream for hours nonstop. I have energy like that. People can't live stream like me. I've seen people live stream for an hour and they're like dying to get off the chat. I gotta leave. I can hold my own for hours, man. I've done live streams for over 10 hours many times. You know? You don't have to like me. I don't care if you don't like me. I know in my own community, I got people that hate me. People in my own radio community, there's people that really don't like me. That's fine. You don't have to like me. That's fine. I accept that, bro. I accept that, especially you liberals out there, you know? I'm very disappointed about some people that I consider them as a friend. And for them to turn on me like that is very disappointing. But I'm not surprised that they turned on me. You know? All because of politics. It's sad. It really is sad to see that. But I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to convert into something I'm not just to appease the masses. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I could have been an ultra liberal, and I would have had probably more people watching me. I would have had a lot of people from the other channels come over here and hang out here and whatever. But I'm not going to sell myself like that. I'm not a sellout. I'm not a sellout. At the end of the day, you have your dignity, your self-worth. No amount of anything can take that away from you. Only you know your value. You know what you're worth. And I'm a loyal person. I think overall, I think I'm a good person overall. I think, you know, am I a little rough around the edges? Yeah, I could be rough around the edges, of course. My mom made me that way. I thank my mom for that. My mom raised me not to be such a fucking pussy. I learned that in the streets of the Bronx, not to be such a fucking pussy about everything. Understand that? But if I seem a little too rough for some people, then that's on you, bro. That's not on me. That's on you. It's not on me. I'm who I am. That's it. If people are too fucking sensitive about it, then you shouldn't be here. You're too fucking sensitive. This ain't fucking Romper Room. This ain't fucking Sesame Street. This is fucking my chat. You know? John Ludbrook, something, Danny, you got to check out in the next few weeks if you have the time on YouTube. Turn off AM, but Australia expanding. There's like USA is massive landmass. Okay. Yeah. You know? When I started this channel, it was about shortwave radio. And then quickly I figured, okay, there's not going to be enough content to cover shortwave radio only. Then I got me a scanner radio. Right? Scanner radio. The microphone's in the way, sorry. Anyway, scanner radio. And then medium wave DXing. Medium wave DXing. And then through several people like Mario DXer. Actually, he was the first one because he's been in this channel since day one. So Mario DXer was the first. Mario DXer was the first guy that I knew that did medium wave DXing. Well, Oxford too, but between him and Oxford, they were the first two. And Sender Jagger. They were the first medium wave DXs that I saw. I said, wow. And I really looked up to all three of them. I said, well, and I still do. I really looked up to them. They to me, they were the ones. To me, they were the ones that inspired me. Them three were the ones that inspired me to do more medium wave DXing. It was them three. They inspired me. They inspired me to buy. Eventually, I bought my first loop because of them. Because I didn't buy a Wellbrook, but I bought an MFJ 1886 loop because of them. They influenced me a lot. Medium wave. And then, of course, FMDXing, Mario DXer. And then, of course, later on, Keegan DXer joined this channel. And then of course, Michael, T-Rated at 922. So those three, again, FMDXing, those three influenced me to do FMDXing. So, I couldn't do it without them, this channel. I need, because you got to come up with content, people. Having a YouTube channel is not easy. You always got to come up with content. Of course, radio reviews and unboxing, and also, antennas, experimenting with antennas and all that. Getting my ham license, I did that because of this channel. Had I not had this channel, I would have never thought about getting my ham license. But I got my ham license because of this channel. Because several people, like Oxford Shortwave, got his ham license. Then it was SparkyZilla 85. Dennis, he got his ham license. Then it was Jill's. He got his ham license. Then inspired me to get mine. Then I got my ham license. And then I know Mario DXer got his ham license after me. So I kind of inspired him. But you see, we're community. We are community here. But it's not easy to do a channel for this long. 10 years now. It's going to be 10 years. It's not easy to come up with content. Some people last couple of years and they run out of stuff. And I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. It's going to be 10 years. And it's changing. When I started this channel 10 years ago, we had Radio Australia. Now, it's been long gone. We just lost CHU. We just lost BBC 4, BBC Radio 4, longwave. We just lost Canadian Weather Band. We lost all these others, Voice of America. We lost all this stuff. It's always changing. We don't know what's going to be for the next 10 years. I was watching a video today, this morning, about C-band. They're gonna vote on auctioning some of the C-band frequency to 5G and 6G. More 5G and 6G coverage. So the C-band is getting smaller and smaller. In a few more years, there might not be no more C-band satellite dish. Just KU band. You see what I'm saying? It's always changing, you know. C-band. I was watching a video this morning. Norcoaster Hobby. That's his channel. He's from Canada. He has a nice channel. I like his channel. He talks about over-the-air TV. He talks about satellite TV. He does reviews on antennas and things like that. So he was talking about it today about the C-band, and the FCC is going to vote on that. Or they're going to do some, I think that they're going to see if they're going to auction off more of the C-band spectrum, C-band frequency spectrum. And it's getting to a point where it's going to be there's not much bandwidth left for C-band. I think it's going to be C-band. They might say, okay, no more C-band dish. We're going to move over to KU band. And that'll be the end of C-band. That'll be the end of an era in terms of C-band dish. So there's this big, ugly dish you see in some places. Those will be obsolete. Now, this always changes now. There's a lot of stuff going on now that we're losing a lot of things. And it's hard to make content for this channel when everything is going bye-bye. You know? So, yeah, you know. I never thought the day that we'd be talking about internet radio in this channel. I never thought the day I would be talking to Marietta DX about internet radio in this channel. That's how far along we have journeyed. We're losing medium wave stations left and right. Noise floor is ridiculous. I just bought a choke balun because my HF reception is getting horrible by the day. You know what I mean? So, you know? Yeah. James Farley, I miss analog TV DXing. Yeah. That's another thing I need to look at. I'm probably gonna get an LTE filter for my television. Because I think some of my TV stations, I think they're getting interference and FM interference too. I do have FM strong stations. So I think that's the next step for my TV antennas. For my TV antenna, excuse me. I need to buy the filters. I need to get an LTE filter, a 5G filter. I need to get the FM filter to block out strong FM interference on my television antenna. And I need one for low band. I think it's a low band VHF type. So there's 3 filters I need to get. So I'm finally going to, because there's some channels I pick up, but it's like I get a lot of pixelation, so I think it's interference that's causing those. So that's the next step now. I need filters now because we have so much 5G. And of course 6G is coming around. So, you know. Yeah, you need to get a woke filter. Yeah, that's all for this. Yeah. John Ludbrook, on the YouTube channel, I watched the guy said that the highest and most powerful AM transmitter in the world, unless you know bigger AM towns. Okay. James Farley, is there any UHF digital channels above 36 anymore? I don't know. I don't really know. It's a good question. I don't know. Mara Diaz, thank you for saying I was inspiration for medium wave DXing. I am surprised I was the first you found through Oxford was doing at the same time? No, because when I found you, it was Oxford and you and Sender Jagger. I guess it was a three. Because, the official SWL chat. Because I know you was very welcoming to me as a new guy. You was welcoming to me right off the bat. Oxford was very nice. He was cool with me. He's always been cool with me. And then Sender Jagger was also, he would leave comments. I remember every time I was he would leave comments. I don't know whatever happened to Sender Jagger, by the way. He just, one day he just disappeared. He stopped posting videos. But yeah, it was between you three, Sender Jagger and you and Oxford. But yeah, I mean, because I would watch you guys videos of all the catches, the transatlantic catches, and I would be like, wow, man, I would love to do that the opposite way. But of course, I never did. I just couldn't. I never did. I never caught anything transatlantic. So yeah. James Foley, internet radio is here to stay. Yeah, I need a woke filter. Well, I don't really need a filter. I just don't deal with them. I spoke to that guy here and there because nobody was on. I remember when he came on, nobody was in the chat. When I started this chat, I was a good 10 minutes in here with nobody. And then he came on and he started chatting. And then and before you know, time went by and then all of a sudden everybody was, yeah. Mara DXer, not only talking about internet radio, but owning more than one. And I am looking on. I'm not there yet. I still would like to have the other radio that if they ever reach out to me, but I'm not going to reach out to them. Maybe after I do a full review on this radio, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I know on eBay there is another. I would like to have the Sea Crane one. That's the one I really would like to try that one, the Sea Crane one. But right now I'm okay with this one. I'm okay with this one for now. It is kind of finicky to work with. It does have its quirkiness to it. But so yeah, I may look into another one in the future. Yeah. James Fowler, I used to listen to Shoutcast and iCast back in the day. Yeah, my first exposure to internet radio, I'll tell you before the phone apps, my first exposure to internet radio was Radio 365. My TiVo, TiVo device. My TiVo device. So first it was my TiVo device. And of course, iTunes. I'm going to get to iTunes. So, but in terms of appliance, my TiVo device. I had, what is it? What is it called? Radio 365? What is it called? So I would have that on the remote and I would tune and listen to that. And back then, it was a lot of podcasts. I would listen to a lot of podcasts because that's when I first started. Back then, I first started listening to a lot of podcasts. Like, Twit podcasts and all that, all these different podcasts, all types of podcasts. I was a podcast. I don't watch podcasts anymore. I don't listen to podcasts. Back then, I used to watch podcasts. Yeah, Radio 365. Okay, that's the name. Okay. So that was on the TiVo. The TiVo had Radio 365. That's how I got into internet radio at first. And then, of course, when I installed iTunes on my computer, and they do have an internet radio on iTunes, that's when I got hooked on it even more. Well, so iTunes has internet radio portion. So that too. Thank you, Mary Dixon, for your £2 donation. I appreciate it. Why can't I click on this now? Anyway, let me heart it. Oh my God, what? Anyway, something going on with my mouse. Okay. Anyway, I gave it a heart. I was okay, like somebody. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Dixon, for the £2 donation. I really appreciate it. And let's go England. I'm rooting for England versus Norway in the quarterfinal. And if England wins, I hope, well, if England wins, then Argentina and Switzerland, the other bracket. So I need somebody to stop Argentina. I don't want Argentina to repeat. I do not want Argentina to repeat. Please, I don't want Argentina to repeat. I'll never hear the end of Messi. All this Messi stuff. Yeah, so Icecast, Shoutcast. But anyway, for me, it was Radio 365. Then it was iTunes. They have internet radio. And then I think after that was, is it Windows Media Player? The original Windows Media Player had an internet radio also, I believe. But yeah, for me, it was iTunes. Radio 365, that was the one for me. Radio 365. Mary Diaz, the last I heard of Sender Jagger, he told me he was dealing with his parents' estate, which he said was taking a lot of his time. He inspired me along with another who sadly is no longer with us. Okay, yeah. 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 Well, they can't get to the final. England has a. If England wins, then England will meet them in the semifinal. If Norway, well, either Norway or England can prevent Argentina from making it to the final. So even if they beat Switzerland, Argentina, they still have one more obstacle before they make it to the final. I don't want them to make it to the final. I'm rooting for England, and if England doesn't win, I hope Norway wins. And then on the other side, you have Spain and France. And I wouldn't mind Spain going to the final. I don't mind if Spain goes to the final. I don't want France either. But France been there already, what, 3 straight finals? 2 straight finals or 3 straight finals have been there? Is it 2 straight finals? I forgot. Anyway. I have to go back in time because I remember Germany beat Brazil 7-1. And then the World Cup after that one, I don't remember if I was watching that one. I think after Rio, they played. Oh, South Africa. After Rio was South Africa, right? And then it was Qatar. I'm trying to remember. Now I can't remember the venues now. Going back. Anyway. Yeah, I know you don't have to pay for the internet radio stuff. You don't have to pay Apple Music. So you don't have to pay Apple Music to search for internet radio stations. Yeah, England or Spain. So the Apple Music app is good if you don't have internet radio. Yeah. And okay, yeah, 2018. Okay, 2018 they won, and then 2022 they were runner up. Okay, that was Qatar. They played in Qatar, right? Okay. 2018 was South Africa. Was South Africa, and then 2014. Oh, Russia. Oh, I forgot about Russia. Oh, so okay, 2010. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about Russia. No wonder I didn't watch it. That's why I didn't watch it. I just couldn't. That's why I didn't watch it because it was in Russia. I don't could care less about stupid Russian stadiums, dilapidated country the way it is. That's why I didn't watch it because it was in Russia. South Africa, I remember. Okay, so 20. The one in Rio was what, 2014. 2014 was Rio, right? That's when Germany beat Brazil. I mean, they got walloped. It was like 7-1. That was embarrassing for Brazil. They made it to the final and only to get blown out. Okay, so now my history was all okay. So there you go. So thank you for my corrections. Yeah, so I just don't want Argentina to win, please. I just don't. Ugh, please. No. So hello, Todd. Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, well, Jason says that. Okay. Hello, Different Gear TV. I hope you're doing well. I think England will be in the final with Spain, and that would be nice. That would be a good final. Now, yeah, 2014 was Brazil. Well, they didn't win. It was in Brazil, but they didn't win. Germany won. Yeah, Germany won. Yeah, they say Brazil. Yeah, they were the host country, but they didn't win. Oh boy, I remember that one. Germany just trashed them. They just trashed them. Yeah, so 2018 France won. 2022 they were runner up. Okay. 2018 was in Russia. 2022 was Qatar, and then South Africa was 2010. Okay, so South Africa. So it goes South Africa, Brazil, Russia, Qatar now. And then 2030 is going to be, is it 6 countries? 2030 is going to be the anniversary. So 2030 is going to be the 100th anniversary of the World Cup. So it's going to be 6 countries. So the first 3 countries is going to be in South America. It's going to be Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay, I think. All right? Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina. For the first, I guess for the group stage. And then the knockout portion is going to be in Europe. It's going to be, what are the European countries they picked? But anyway, yeah, so it's going to be like that. It's going to be 6 countries. So that's crazy. So I think the opening is going to be in South America. And then the knockout and the final is going to be in Europe. That's crazy. That's the 100th anniversary. Because, Uruguay was the first World Cup. They were the first ones. 1930. Yeah. John Ludlow, sorry to get back to AM radio. Okay. Different Gear TV, the Mexico-England game. I listened to BBC Radio 5. Medium wave into Spain. The signal was good. One of the best games I ever listened to. I watched the second half of it. I watched about the second half of it, and then yeah. Anything with the word ham radio, I don't watch those channels anymore. I stopped watching ham radio channels. So sorry, I just don't. Anything with ham radio, I don't care to watch those channels anymore. Honestly, I'm at the point where I am disgusted with a lot of ham radio. I was reading a post a couple of days ago on Facebook. And when I see a channel that says ham radio, I avoid it. I would not click on it. I don't care how. I just don't. So yeah, I'm sorry, John. I wouldn't watch it. I just don't care for ham radio channels. I think most of them are boring. They're just pitching stuff. They're too, especially even if you leave a comment or whatever, people in there, it just, ham radio community gravitates the worst people, the know-it-alls. They think they know everything. Just because you pass a written amateur radio test doesn't mean you're smart. I had a couple in here that used to be like that. I had one that was a general. And he would ask me basic, I'm going to say stupid questions about loop antennas. And I'm thinking, I thought this guy was an amateur radio. I think he was a general level operator, amateur radio. And then he would try to, he would talk down to me, try to disrespect me. And I finally got fed up with him. And I didn't even ban him, my mod banned him. Well, my mod timed him out. Then I finally banned him after he threatened me. He threatened me on Facebook saying he knows where I live at. He told me that I know where you live at. And I'm like, I don't care where you know where I live at. So what are you going to do? And I told him, I said, by the way, I took a screenshot of that and I told him, I'm going to send this to the FCC because you're using the FCC database to locate me and to send me a threat. And I bet you're going to use, if I send this to them, you lose your license just like that. And I never heard a peep from that man again. So that's what I think about the ham radio community. I think that a lot of people in there, unfortunately, are just ignorant. They're full of themselves. They think because they're amateur radio operator, they're the gatekeepers of the world. They're pompous assholes. That's why I avoid channels that say ham radio, amateur radio, whatever. When I see a channel that has that channel name, I avoid them. I avoid them completely. I'm done with the ham radio. Watching ham radio content, I'm done with it. I don't watch them no more. I don't need to. I do my own research and common sense. And I have a book there that I can read. I have a book there if I want to read anything and stuff. I don't need to watch another ham. Because all he's going to do is try to pitch stuff to me. So I don't need another ham to tell me what to do with my radio. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm a smart man. I could do, Yeah, same thing with Shango. That's another one I won't watch. I don't watch him either. I don't watch him. He's another one that came in here. He came in here, left me a comment saying that. He came in here and said that this radio is unusable. Shango came in here, left a comment that this radio is unusable. He's not unusable. I thought he was smarter than that. This radio is the best radio I have. This is the best radio I have. For him to say that this radio is unusable, I lost all respect for him. Not that I used to watch his channel anyway. I know James Farley, you're loyal to him. Good for you. That's your cup of tea. Good for you. I don't watch idiots like that. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. When you said this radio is unusable, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Does this radio emit some noise? Yes, it does. I'll show you. You have the screen on. You hear that whining? You hear that one? All you have to do is do this. Turn off the screen. That's all you have to do. Turn off the screen, the noise is gone. So Mr. Shango
doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I know, James, you follow him because he has 1 million whatever. He's a big channel, whatever. People, bro, he's wrong about this radio. He's wrong about this radio. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't care if you got an electronics degree. You don't know how to use a radio. You don't know how to use this radio. You don't know how to use this radio. I don't have to have an electronics degree to tell you that. That's all I did. Shut off the screen. You know who taught me that? A kid. A kid. A smart kid. A smart kid told me to shut the screen off. That's a community. You understand that? The problem with people like, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, you follow people that they think they know it all. You haven't learned, James, I'm sorry, you haven't learned everything what I said to you. You still follow these people. They're not the end all be all people. They're not. That guy said that this radio is unusable. So if you watch him, it's for, I don't know what entertainment he gives you, but I don't know why you watch it, because I can't watch him. He's unwatchable. He's not funny. He's just boring to watch. He's a boring guy to watch. So I don't know. I guess your level, whatever, of entertainment is different than mine. To me, he has to be entertaining, and I find him boring. When he left a comment on my channel saying that this radio is unusable, I said, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He just, unless he was drunk that night. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe he was drunk and he wanted to troll me. I don't know why he wanted to troll me. I'm not a big channel. But he left a comment about this radio. He said this radio is unusable. He said this radio is unusable. So I'm sorry, I can't help you there. If you find him entertaining, that's good for you. But he's unusable. He's boring. That's why I stay away from channels that have amateur radio or ham radio, because they don't know it all. They don't know it all. You know who told me this? You know who told me that? Chicopee Radio. Chicopee Radio told me, Danny, just press this button, hold it for a few seconds, and it'll eliminate the noise. He told me that. Nobody else told me that. He told me that. Is he an electronics engineer? No, he's not. He's scouted around. He's on all these forums, and he found out. He said, Danny, this is going to fix your noise issue. And I said, oh, you know what? Let me try that. I wasn't being egotistic and arrogant and said, no, I know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. No, I didn't do that. I said, Chicopee, wow, let me try it. And it worked. And it works. So thank you, Chicopee Radio, for making this radio usable, because he said it's unusable. You see what I'm saying, people? You don't understand what I'm saying. You don't understand what I'm saying. You cannot follow blindly a person and think that, oh, he's a great, it doesn't work that way. Everybody has their Achilles heel. Exactly. There you go. Mary DX said too. I am still grateful for Chicopee Radio because it also sorted my noise issue on my web server. There you go. See what I'm saying? A kid, a 17-year-old kid, told me this trick. This trick. Oh, I just turned on the screen. Let me turn it off again. There you go. A 17-year-old kid. So when Chango said that, by the way, he's not the only one that said this radio is unusable. You know who also said this radio was unusable? And he changed his opinion now. Kevin O'Reilly. Kevin O'Reilly said this radio was unusable. Kevin O'Reilly said that. The original one. The original Not the deeper. He made a recent review of that one. His first review of this radio for a few years back, he said this radio was too noisy. Of course, apparently he didn't know back then that you could just shut off the screen. That was it. I just wish you can tune the screen off. No, you're not understanding why we have to shut off the screen. We only shut off the screen because of the server. Because people tune the server. When I'm tuning, I have my screen on. I have my screen on. When I'm tuning, when I'm using this radio, when I use this radio standalone, the noise doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Like the deep elect. When I'm in the only as a server because of the USB and all that. The noise comes out because of the USB and all that stuff, the electronic, the computer and all that. That's why you shut off the screen. For the server. But when I use it as a standalone, I don't have that issue with the noise. Sometimes you have to move it around a bit because sometimes it could be susceptible to the noise too. And also, I lower the brightness. I do lower the brightness because that did help too. But of course, Mr. Shango. Anyway, I'm done with talking about him. He's please, and please don't put his name into my chat. Please don't do that. Don't do that. I understand you like him, great, but don't do that. He gets under my skin because he says, people don't understand that you cannot follow one person blindly and think, oh, he's a know-it-all be-all. He's not. I'm sorry, he's not. Now, Mr. Carlson, that's a different YouTuber. He does electronic things, but Mr. Carlson never took the time to come here and tell me that this radio is a piece of junk. It's unusable. Mr. Carlson didn't do that. He did that. When you do that, you open yourself up to criticism. And that's when I said, you're wrong. I think I left a comment after that saying that you're totally wrong. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And that's it. Because I think I'm pretty sure I replied to that one. I have to look back. I don't remember which video. But anyway, he said this radio was unusable. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. This is one of the best radios of all time. This is one of the best radios on all three bands. This radio, one of the best radios ever made of all time. Of all time. You want to compare it to like the Sony, ICF 2010. You want to compare it to great radios. This radio is up there. It's top. I gotta say it's like top 3 ever. This radio top 3. Top 3. The only thing this radio doesn't have that I wish it would have had, but it's the limitation of the chip, is single sideband. If this radio would have had single sideband, this radio would have been the GOAT. Had this radio would have single sideband, it'd be a GOAT. Greatest of all time. That's it. So Shango doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Different gear TV. I avoid ham radio for those reasons. I'm happy to stick with free band frequencies. No questions. Yeah, it's just in general. I just avoid them because, like I said, even though this guy's not a ham radio guy, but he thought he was going to come in here and leave a comment like that, and I was going to let it go by. I said, no, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. This is a great radio. What are you talking about? Look at my body of work. Look at all the catches. Look at all the catches that I caught with this radio. All the medium wave catches, the short wave reception, all the FMDXing that I'm doing with this radio right now. Are you crazy? Are you crazy to say that this radio is not even usable? What planet are you on? And that's when I lost all respect. I say, I cannot listen to an opinion of a guy that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to this radio. I'm sorry. I don't care how much of an electronic degree you are. You sound stupid and ignorant when you come in here and try to bash my video by saying that this radio is unusable. Bro, I must be living rent-free in his head. James, that's funny because he's a DX86 that he goes to. Exactly. He's using the radio with the same chip. He doesn't know that's the same chip. You're Mr. Radio, you Mr. Electronics guy. You don't know that it's the same radio. It's just a different display. It's a different body and a different display. That's it. Now I am aware that this display does emit noise. I knew that. But there's a fix to it. And Chicopee told me, Danny, you can get rid of that whiny noise on the server if you just turn off the screen. I didn't know that. On the DPLX, by the way, they don't have this button. You gotta hit the battery. You know, it's a touch screen on the DPLX. On the DPLX, you just press down this corner and the screen shuts off. I didn't even know about that. Somebody else told me that one. I think it was Radio Wave Maniac. Radio Wave Maniac told me that one. Because I was trying to figure out that one. That one, if you press this button on the DPLX, it don't do anything. I mean, it does something, but it doesn't shut off the screen. That one, since it's a touch screen, you got to press the battery compartment corner. I mean, the battery indicator corner, you just press it and hold it for a second or two, and the screen turns off. Okay? So you see what I'm saying? It's a community that makes this thing. They taught me that. I didn't take credit for that. They taught me that. So Chicopee Radio for this radio, Radio Wave Maniac for the other radio. You see? That's why I never say never, bro. Don't, listen to everybody. And then, you know what? If they're right, you give them credit. Give them credit where credit is due, bro. Different Gear TV, yeah, just because they feel they need to justify a 10,000K radio receiver and nothing else. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. There's another channel that does that. He likes to play around with a $15,000 Icon receiver. Fuck out of here. Nice. I'm not spending no $10,000-$15,000 receiver. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Not even for content, bro. And his channel's nowhere near my channel. The guy with the $15,000 receiver. He got a little spike on subscribers. I remember because he was the one that bought that Eton Elite HD, whatever the hell it was, the radio that flopped. And he got like a bunch of subscribers because of that. Because nobody else bought that stupid radio. And his channel's all about, he has a nice couple of nice radios, but you think I'm gonna drop $15,000 on a radio? That's stupid. That's just bad money management. I'm sorry. Now, unless you're a multi-millionaire and you got all that money, hey, more power to you. I don't have that luxury. Sorry. James Farley, I was using my mini TF radio last night and it works well. Yeah, exactly, it works well. It works very well. It works very well, and it didn't cost $15,000. There you go. And it works very well. I wish you could tune with the screen off. Well, you don't need to turn the screen off when you're tuning. Like I said, like I just said earlier, right now it's set up as a server. That's why I turn it off, so I don't get the whiny noise. That's it. That's the only reason why. That's it. Yeah, exactly, Mary DX. I'm grateful to Chicopee Radio for bringing that up. Exactly. That goes to show you that anybody can find out something about something and tell you. And you know what? And I didn't take credit for it. Mary DX knows I didn't take credit for it. I told Mary DX. Chicopee Radio. He was the one that put me on this. And I guess he found out for somebody else or whatever. And he told me. He said, Danny, try this. I said, okay. I wasn't closed-minded and say, oh, you don't know nothing. I know everything. I don't need to try it. No, I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. Yeah. And gave him credit. I said, yo, thank you, bro. Good move. And I always mention that. I always mention it to anybody, and I tell them, Chicopee Radio was the one that told me about the screen shut off on this particular radio. Okay? And there you go. John Ludbrook. Oh, actually, let me read it. James Farley. I also discovered that if you hold the nut On the antenna, the noise also goes a lot down. You get better. Yeah, I know. I know these radios too. Sometimes you get better grounding. Like for example, this one, if I hold it, especially when it has a telescoping whip, I notice that it gets more grounded. It does. And, you know, I guess it has to do with your hands or whatever. Yeah, especially any of the TF radios. Yeah, it does get. I don't know for some reason. Yeah, it does that. You get better reception. That's true. John Lloyd, before I started watching your channel, I never really thought about radio waves and how they work on like BBC Radio 4 analog, from fishermen to captains. Yeah, same here. Listen, when I first started this channel, I don't know the stuff that I know now. I learned a lot. I learned a lot because of this channel. But not because I learned a lot because of the journey. So this channel is more because of the journey. The original title was Danny Shortwave and Radio DX. And it was a journey. When I started this channel, I didn't know much about, even though I dabbled in shortwave when I was young, I didn't know a lot about shortwave. I know more now, but I didn't know much back then. I didn't know about long wave. I didn't know nothing about long wave. I didn't know nothing about all the radio bands. Now I'm very knowledgeable on all the stuff now. But I learned over the last 10 years. And also, I became a ham. I became an amateur radio operator. And I learned a lot. Like James Foley I learned a lot from you guys. From watching you guys, whoever you guys that have channels. I also watch other content. I do. I'm not into, by the way, I'm not into electronic repair channels anymore because I'll tell you why. And I'm not knocking any of them. I just don't have the time. Because right now, I'm at the point in my life where I'm not going to open up radios and repair them anymore. At best, I was never that way. I'm not an electronics person. I'm not a real smart electronic. You saw that I just opened up that little radio here and there to put a connector. That's as far as I'm going to go. That's as far as I'm going to go. Like open up a radio, like battery DX, maybe to change the battery, thing. I'm not going to go no more than that. I'm not going to do like replace all capacitors on a radio. I'm not doing all that at this point in my life because first of all, I don't have the room here. Plus, my vision is deteriorating. My hands are not the same. I do get a little shaking sometimes. So things like that, so when I watch this content, I don't watch it anymore. I used to watch what I used to watch before was like the Commodore 64. Somebody opened up the Commodore 64 to fix it, things like that. I'll watch those videos once in a while. Although lately I haven't been watching it. I haven't been watching it lately because I don't have no projects lately to do all that. But yeah, like stuff like that. But I don't watch that stuff because I don't really have interest in it now because I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. So, remember, my time is limited. Everybody's time is limited in this world. And I don't want to spend, because those videos are long. Those videos that they do, some of those electronic videos, they're long. And they're boring. I'm going to say they're boring. They're not interesting to me right now because I'm not interested in that. I don't want to watch a video that I'm not going to do anything about that. Why want to watch a video about replacing all these capacitors on that particular radio? Why would I want to watch that if I'm not going to do that? So it's a time management thing for me. I want to watch something that's going to benefit me now, that's interesting to me now, not some radio that I don't even own. First of all, a radio that I don't even own, and he's changing out all the stuff on it. Why would I want to watch a video like that? It serves no purpose to me. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not knocking them. Well, I am knocking Shango for the stupid comment. But you know what I mean? We have to juggle our real life. I know people always come in here and they say, oh, yeah, I follow this guy, Carlson's Lab. Yeah, he sounds like a smart guy. He's very, I'm sure. But I don't watch those channels because I'm not interested in that content. I'm not interested in that content. I'm just not interested in it because I don't plan to do that stuff anyway. You know, I don't plan to. You understand? So that's why, you know, you understand that? It's a time thing. It's a time management thing. I don't want to waste my time watching YouTube videos on stuff that I'm not going to do. I'd rather watch a garden video, somebody planting something that I might do tomorrow. Or I'd rather watch a do-it-yourself channel on something that I might work next week. I don't want to watch a video on somebody opening up a Zenith transoceanic to change out the filter capacitor. When I'm not going to do it myself, why would I watch a video like that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the contents of what I'm saying? That's what I mean. So when people bring up these people, like they're great people, I don't care for that content. I just don't want to watch it. You know? Same thing when I see ham radio. What are they going to tell me? What are they going to tell me that I don't know? You know? That's why I don't watch that stuff, because they're not adding to anything to me. I watch stuff that that's going to add to what I want to learn. So when I watch amateur radio live stream or whatever, I don't want to watch that stuff because it's not important to me. It's not important to me. There's nothing there that's going to benefit me right now. So, you know, you have to be selective about your time management. In my case, I don't want to watch somebody trying to fix a 1930s radio. Why would I want to watch that if I'm never going to do that anyway? To me, that's a waste of time. You understand that? It's a waste of time. So, you know, good for them. That's their content. You know, you guys said they got their own following of a bunch of old people that want to tinker around and restore an old radio. Good for them. I'm not doing that. I'm not restoring old radios. I'm not doing that here. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the time to restore old radios now. I barely have the time to come on here and do a chat. I don't have time to be talking about, I want to restore Zenith transoceanic filter capacitor, and I got to put these tubes in, and I got to do this, you know, change all the, you know, capacitors and all. I don't got time for that, bro. I don't even do. You know what those radios are right now? They're upstairs in a shelf, collecting dust. They're probably gonna be there till the day I die, and then my wife and son are probably gonna sell them off at a yard sale. I'm not gonna. I have one that needs to be overhauled. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that because I just don't have the time. I don't have the time. The older I get, the less time I have to do things like that. You know? I know people always bring up the same names to these channels. Oh, I watch this guy. Like it's a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor. If anything, it's a badge of, you know, wow, man, find something else to watch. I actually watch stuff that's not even, I watch a lot of stuff that's not radio related. You know how much stuff I watch that's not radio related? It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. I watch a lot of history. I watch a lot of documentary. I watch a lot of that stuff. I don't watch radio related stuff. When I'm done here, I don't watch radio related stuff. Once in a while, I'll watch, like this morning, I did watch Norcoaster Hobby about the C-band thing. I watched that one, and then he made another video that I watched. It was about the filters, about the LTE filter and all that. So I watched 2 videos of his channel, and that was it. And then I moved on to another totally different thing. I don't watch radio content all day. I'll get bored. I talk about that here, but I don't watch that stuff. Once I'm done, I don't watch all that. Why would I want to watch more radio content? I'll watch some of you guys' stuff if it happens to come on my recommendation, or if it's posted on Discord. Like Mary DX's video that he just talked about the battery. I saw that video. You know? But I don't watch a lot of electronic content. I don't watch. So people start posting these names like it's a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor, people. So please stop that. It really isn't a badge of honor. He's not. Hate to break it to you people. He's not a badge of honor. It's not a badge. John Ludbrook and oil tankers hate the fact that radio. Who's calling me? Oh, my wife. Let me take this over here. Yeah. The what? Let me see. Hold on.
Anyway, there you go. A few minutes here and there. All right, let me read up here. Yeah, we learn from each other's experience. Exactly, James Farley. I don't have any content on your channel, but that's on you. You know, you don't want a YouTube, that's fine. Todd, James noticed that too after getting the radio. Mary Diaz, I talked about that earlier, by the way. I forgot to say that when you got your ham license after seeing Oxford Jills, and yeah, also Sparky Zilla 85. My friend Dennis. Sparky Zilla 85. He's one of the first YouTube channels that I used to watch a lot. He doesn't post much anymore. He rarely posts stuff now. He was the second person that got the license. I think Oxford was the first one to get his license. And then Sparky Zilla 85 might have been the second one. And then that's when I started getting the itch. And then also Todderberg. But also Todderberg got his license too. But he doesn't do content on, you know. But Todderberg got his tech license also. He did get his license too, Todderberg. And then Jills got his license. And then that's when I said, okay, I have to get mine. And then you got yours after me. So yeah, I forgot Todderberg also. Todderberg is also a licensed amateur radio operator. Todderberg. He's a technician. James Farley, my eyesight is bad and my hands have neuropathy. I'm done. Yeah, you know, I can't do that stuff that they do. I just can't do it. You know, plus I was not real good with electronics. This is later on in my adulthood is when I started getting into electronics. But you know, I didn't start at an early age doing that. Well, anyway. Yeah, but you know, you always mention them like a badge of honor. It's not that you idolize them, it's that you always mention them. And you know, quite frankly, I just don't care for them. I just don't. It's like I understand what you're saying it, but you know, you know what? Maybe you're taking it the wrong way. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but when people, because I see people post all this stuff, like they always mention these people. It's like, I get it, bro. You know why? I'll tell you why. There's a cardinal rule. I'm gonna explain you the cardinal rule. You want to know the cardinal rule about when you're on a live stream? Don't mention other channels. I don't do that. When I'm on a live stream, I don't mention no other channels. I don't do that. You know why? Because hosts don't like that. Hosts don't like that. There's a cardinal rule. It's an unwritten rule. When you're on a channel, on a live stream, you don't mention other channels. I know what you're saying because that's what happens. You're gonna trigger. You know, I don't do it. I by the way, I never do that. When I'm on a live stream on another channel, I don't talk about other channels. You know why? Because I feel like it's a disrespect to the host. That's the way I feel. I don't do it. And it kind of annoys me when people do it here. So there you go. So if you don't want that reaction, don't post their names here no more. That's it. That's all I'm going to tell you. I know maybe you don't even want to hear that, but that's what it is. When you start mentioning channels, and that goes for anybody here. Unless we talk about it, unless I initiate it, I don't want people to be posting, yeah, I do watch it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. Because they're not the end all be all. I don't, look that Shango guy. I don't like him. I think he's full of shit. I'm sorry. When you come in here and try to bash this radio, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You lost me at that point. And there you go. Take it for what it is. I'm sorry. If it bothers you, then you know what? I can't help you.
I can't help you today, bro. James Foley, put back in the 1980s. I assembled my own computers, soldered things. I did all that. I didn't assemble computers. I soldered a few things. Simple soldering stuff, not complicated stuff. Now I wouldn't do that. Well, I can still assemble computers and all that. It's soldering is trickier for me. It's trickier. Plus, I was never good soldering. I was never good in soldering. I never soldered a lot to learn. Like over my lifetime, I probably soldered not too many times. That's what I mean. So, yeah. Don't talk about gardening. I watch everything. Even gardening, I get tired. Like right now, since yesterday, I don't want to watch gardening thing no more because I'm turned off by gardening now because of this one. So, yeah. So, yeah, you say you don't idolize them. That's not the point. The point is when you go on a live chat, especially like, you know how I am. I think you do it just to, I think sometimes you do it just to irk me. You just want to. That's fine. But I don't do it. I practice. I don't want to say safe, whatever. But when I go into any live stream I go to, I never mention people that I watch. I never talk about other channels because that's a cardinal sin. That's a cardinal sin. Because you know what my reaction is going to be? Is if you like that channel so much, why don't you fucking go there? I could easily said that. You know what I'm saying? I could easily say, why he's not live streaming like me? You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know what? Don't mention them here. If you don't want my reaction, don't mention them here. That's it. Don't mention any channel here. And and by the way, Discord, I do the same thing on Discord. I tell people, do not post other channel links unless they are a member of my Discord. And Chickapee Warrior was the one that I had a couple of times I had to let them know. Do not post their server links on my Discord. If they're not a member of my Discord, then I don't want no channels from their links. I don't want no server link. I'm sorry. Until they're a member of my channel, then that's it. Because that to me, that's because what happens is then it gets out of hand later on. So you got to cut it off from the beginning. And by the way, I know that a lot of channels, if you were to come on and start mentioning all this stuff, you'll get the boot. You'll get the boot. You'll get the boot. You'll get the boot for that. So it's not about idolizing. It's it's called it's a cardinal rule. I just don't mention those channels. That's it. Don't mention any channel because I'm gonna tell you, one, like I said, my opinion of this one, not very highly. The other one, I could care less because I don't care about that content. It's not to me, it's like a badge. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel. I watch a lot of channels. I watch a lot of everything. Before I started this channel, I watch a lot of non-radio related stuff. When I'm done with this live stream, I don't watch radio related stuff. I get burned out. Right now, I'm getting burned out with this channel. I'm taking a break. I'm probably not this stream, probably the next live stream and so on. After that, I'm going to take a long break until September. I probably won't live stream in August. That's for sure. I'll do one more live stream maybe, and then I'm going to take a long break until Labor Day or after Labor Day. Because that's it. I want to enjoy the rest of the summer. Because this channel, unfortunately, I only got 2 people watching. This channel, since I've been on, this channel has not hit double digits. So I don't want to be, why am I, I came out today because I had a couple of hours to spare. That's why. So there you go. Yeah. So I'm gonna move along because I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up soon. So let me just go through this and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I have to go outside. I have to. I'm gonna put off the cooking. I'm gonna buy him some hot food. I don't feel like cooking now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna skip a few. Okay, so let me see. I also watch. Remember this? I also watch non-radio related channel happening more now. Exactly. That's another thing, because there is too much overload. I don't want to watch radio channels when I just finished talking about it for the last 3 hours. Right now, I'm gonna get him food. I'm gonna eat some food. I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna sit on the recliner. I'm gonna put my 55-inch TV on, and I'm gonna watch something else. Something nice that I want to watch, or even watch a movie. Well, I'll watch a movie, a documentary or movie. I enjoy watching documentaries a lot. That's my thing, documentaries. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. Married the accident. Station leaving medium wave, short wave. Yeah, exactly. James Fowler, especially child, which show me how to fix stuff that I can do. Channels, like decoding utility channels. When I bought my PK232 terminal unit back in '82, it could decode a lot of digital modes at the time. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Going to get dinner. We'll watch in the background. May come on. No, I'm gonna be gone soon anyway. But yeah, thank you for coming by. Hope you have a great evening. Have a good night. Married the XR. James, okay, I note that I am a man. I can deal with it. I rewatched your stream from yesterday, the entire thing, and it touched my heart. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, I'm not trying to break your balls or anything. It's just when people post stuff like that, I get it, bro. That's your content. That's fine. But I don't do that. You understand? I'm trying to tell you what I don't do. I don't do that when I go to other live streams. I don't talk about other people's channels because I feel like if you're there, is to focus on this channel, is to participate. Is anything you post there, it should be related to this channel. And when people start posting, oh, I watch this guy, watch this guy. So why the fuck are you not there? I could easily say that. I could have told you. Then why the fuck are you not there now? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? If he's so fucking hot, why is he not streaming like I stream? You see what I'm saying? This is the thing I'm talking about, people. Yeah, you got people out there that post a lot of good content in terms of all this other stuff. But they don't stream. They don't stream. Or if they stream, they might stream for an hour maybe. Or whatever. Just like that other guy you mentioned. Because you mentioned that Dave Kastler guy. That's another guy that's fucking boring to watch. And he streams. I've been to his stream. The guy's boring as fuck. He's boring. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm spending the last few minutes talking about other channels. And this is why I don't want to do. I don't want to talk about other channels. So do me a favor. Don't mention other channels in here. And you won't get the this thing. And that's it. And I tell that to everybody. Don't come in here saying, I watch this guy. Because I'm going to tell you, if he's so fucking great, why are you not there? That's it. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Because I don't do that. Because I feel when you do that, I've been to official SWO channel so many times. I never wrote in there, oh, I watch this guy. But you know what he would have done to me? He would have took away my wrench. Eventually, he would have said, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I learned from dumb not to do that. I've been to live streams where I seen people do that. Oh, I watch this guy, and they get the boo. Well, if you like him so much, then get the fuck out of here. That's what they get. They get that treatment. So you need to stop that. Stop that. When you go to channels, don't talk about other people's channels. It's not cool. It's not cool. I don't do that. I feel like it's very disrespectful. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry. If it bothers you, I'm sorry, but I don't do that. I don't do that myself. I never go to a channel and talk about other people's channels that I watch this person. No, I don't do that, because you know what? Your focus should be on this channel, and that's it. And this content and the theme that we're talking about. Unless I say, if I mention the channel, then it's okay. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not, because I've seen it happen too many times. It's quite frankly, it is kind of disrespectful to the host. Same thing when people told me, oh, you should collaborate. I don't want to collaborate with anybody. Nobody can collaborate with me. Nobody can collaborate with me because I'm who I am. There's not going to be no benefit of me collaborating. They do his thing. Robbie Strike, I like Robbie Strike. He does his thing. I do my thing. And Tenement does his thing. I do my thing. Jills, official SW, does his thing. I do my thing. You understand? I have people tell me that, oh, well, you collaborate. I don't want to collaborate. Why would I want to collaborate? I see people collaborate and it never works. 740, whatever, 740. What's that guy, 740 from Connecticut? He collaborated with Tom's radio show. Did it blow up anybody's channel? No. It was boring to watch. I'm sorry. I love Tom. But it was boring to watch. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch one episode of that. Because it was boring. You understand? It doesn't work. How I am here, I don't want to be like that, and the next person is going to be like, doesn't know how to react. I don't want to be like next to this person. This person might think that I'm crazy. No. You see what I'm saying? People watch me because of who I am. And whatever, that's what I want. That's my goal, is to bring attention to a lot of other things. By the way, I always said it from the beginning. I'm going to use this forum to talk about other things. You see the difference between me and these people? I'm going to use my forum to talk about other things. What I spent here in the beginning of the live stream, what I was talking about, somebody was attacking me about Trump. He wasn't even talking about radio. He was attacking me about Trump. How do you think I handled that? You see? I'm like a radio show. That's what I want people to see. I want people to see that I'm like a call-in radio show. You understand? Yeah, you got these people. Yeah, he's good at opening old radios and fixing them. Good for fucking him. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-motherfucking-doo. You know what I'm saying? That ain't me. You come to watch me because of this. You come to watch me because of this. Not because I'm opening a fucking old radio and soldering. That shit is boring as fuck to watch. I'm sorry. It's boring as fuck to watch. I can't watch that shit. I fucking snooze on my recliner. I'll probably snooze off watching somebody open up a radio, fucking solder and shit like that. I'll fucking fall asleep. I'm sorry. I say here like it is, bro. All right. John Lugberg, I would like watching classic comedy. Best way to try to watch Mickey Flanagan comedy. Okay, he'll make you laugh. Yeah, I like British comedies for fun. He'll have you in stitches, just watch, laugh. I find less distress because laughter is really. Yeah, I know exactly. Laugh. Right? That's the problem with too many people. Too many people are not laughing. We got too many uptight people in this world, like that guy that was here with the Trump derangement syndrome. All right, I'm out of here. See you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.